Vaishali ji, if you can just accelerate the circulation to the faculty development program participants, it would be a pleasure. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the final day of Faculty Development Program FDP 0.1 on how to promote entrepreneurship development in youth as a teacher. We hope you all had a restful evening and are ready for another day of insightful discussions and valuable learning.
Absolutely, Shravan. It was an incredible journey exploring the topic. So before we continue our discussions, let me introduce our consulting services. With network of over 3,000 advocates across 30K plus states, we provide support for every step of the incorporation process. From registering your company to obtaining necessary license and filing taxes, our team is here to help you turn your dream startup into a reality.
FKNG also specializes in providing independent consulting services to MSMEs, private limited companies, and public listed companies. Our team of experts is dedicated to helping businesses bolster their growth and increase their revenues. With a team of 3,000 plus associated consultants from approximately 30 plus countries, and as we are going on growing our networks day by day, with our tailor-made solutions, we ensure that our clients achieve their goals and stay ahead of the competition.
Once again, we would like to welcome everyone, and it's an honor to have you all with us. Your expertise adds a special dimension to our session, making it a unique and insightful gathering. It's wonderful to see familiar faces and new participants joining us today. We hope you had a restful day and are ready to dive into another session filled with valuable insights and discussions.
We would also like to inform all of you that the HR team will be conducting polls in the chat box throughout the session. We encourage active participation from all attendees.
Our first speaker of the day is Dr. Sunil Kumar with over 21 years of academic research and administrative experience. Dr. Sunil is a professor and area chair of journal management at Alliance University. He holds a Doctor of Letter and a PhD in economics, as well as multiple certifications from prestigious institutions such as Stanford University and CRBS. He is passionate about the transformational power of education and strives to foster critical thinking and analytical problem solving skills in his students. Now, I would request Dr. Sunil to commence his speech.
Thank you so much, SK Associate and Group. It's I think second time I'm here with you people. And before we also had discussion in the past. I'm trying to make it this session interactive, so I can request participants who are from academia, or from corporate, maybe from startups. Let's interact. There are few things which we must be knowing, and few things could be new for us. Like, for example, if you look at the government policies, we are not aware of that. We do not explore the websites. So what I try to do that, I'm trying to get the real policies of the government of India in my slides. So you can get benefit out of that. If you're an academician, you can discuss with the student in the classroom. If you are really entrepreneur, younger especially, you get to know that which schemes and policies we do have in India. It's not only Indian government is supporting us as startup, even we have funding from abroad. There are more than 20 bridges we do have between India and other countries which are funding startups. I was getting to data, so I found that more than 800 startups could benefit from international companies or other countries even. So we are not aware of many policies sometimes. Being educators, we need to explore those things. But when you are in real business, so what we do, we just look at what is existing in the market, what we know about that, and what people told us before. But if you explore policies and you take help maybe from like a consulting company like SK Associate, they'll tell you which policies are available actually for startups and new entrepreneurs which are getting into any kind of business. It could be normal production of for domestic market, or could be for export. It depends. So my slides are so many, but I try to finish before 1 hour if I can. Professors can't stop if one to start, but I try to make it interactive, fruitful for us. And if you confirm is visible or not, let me know. Is visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, that's wonderful. So let me put it on slide show mode. So it's fine now? Just in full screen or
exactly
full screen? Okay. Okay, so good evening, participants. So introduction has been done. We won't waste time for that. What I do. So I'm part of university, this university, Angel's University in Bangalore for the last 8 years. And before that, I worked with the good brands. I just worked for almost 22 years. I did some projects from India and abroad and get to meet some startups, new entrepreneurs, or businesses outside India as well, and to understand what actually happens, what they think, and how to get fundings and all those things. So I try to finish my talk based on that. So what I have for you today, so just going to talk on four major topics that why we are not aware of financial literacy. Sometimes we just depends on other people. Maybe we need to hire somebody for that. Maybe CA, maybe somebody from finance background. That is good to have expertise, to have perfect work done in your company. But you should know little about at least financial literacy as well. So you can see things happening in line or not. Although we can rely on different consultant, our CAs and people with a finance background, but still, if somebody is not there in your company and need to take care of fundings and finances, you should know a little bit about that. And second thing, we're going to discuss about which are the funding sources we do have from Government of India. There are different sources. Almost, I'm going to discuss about 3 sources, not more than that. There's not much time we do have. Otherwise, we can spend hours and hours on this topic. Third thing, we have international funding sources. Like what do we have? What Government of India is doing for us to get that funding in India. And fourth thing, you must be aware of a few things out of these so many things. So how to get personal funding sources. The topic says funding and financial literacy. So I'll start reverse. So let's know about first financial literacy and then get into other aspects. I just told you, so managing finances in a company is crucial for us, especially for youngsters. They are from different backgrounds. Sometimes they are getting into maybe software production. They are not so great in managing finances. They know how to get funding, how to spend funding, but how to manage those things effectively, we are missing something out of that. And that's why we rely on other people, consultant or CAs for that. So before getting into business, we can't be expert in finance like CA or maybe other companies are there. But we should know a little bit about those things so we can manage things if there is nobody existing with us at that point of time or before we start something. So once we start any business, we cannot hire each and everybody for the company. We cannot hire CA, which is expert in this field, can't even take help from consultants because sometimes the fees should be very high. And being a startup, we can't afford initially. So to avoid this kinds of inconvenience initially in your business, we should know about finances, how to manage that. And not only that, if you know how to manage finances, you can take better decisions on your production or your business, right? And to be sustainable in the market, you should know overall knowledge of each and every aspect of that business which you are getting into. So I'm going to discuss on that quickly. Most of you know about this financial literacy. It's a not new thing for us. So what we focus on mainly in financial literacy, the first thing is how to look at the basic financial management. There's a course on that if you are studying BBA or BCom or maybe Masters of Administration is MBA, then you get such courses to understand what is financial management. If not, then how to get into this. So I will discuss on that, how to get into this, all those things, but what we should know as a startup. So first thing, the budgeting, we should know about that, how to manage your all expenses if we're getting some revenue, how to spend that revenue for your different activities in a company. And then other thing is cash flow management, which is part of financial management in the company. It's a course also we do have in different programs, but we should know. Even you can buy some basic book of financial management, we can get to know about all those things basically. And we should know how to get that cash flow, that inflow, outflow, 2 things we do have. We get revenue, there's an inflow, we spend money, is outflow. And how to ensure that your business is always ready for any emergency or any precautions we should have. So there could be emergencies that some machine broke down and need funding for that instantly. And we can't go to bank instantly say, give me the loan, I need money. So bank takes its own time. And we're going for other peer or other fundings, again, it takes time. If we have some funds in our, some maybe sources, then we can get those things instantly during emergencies in the business. Second thing is funding and investment. We must know which are the different funding sources for us as business. It could be your own investment, own savings. It could be peer, we can say funding. It can be loan. You can use credit card nowadays. Nowadays, banks offer credit cards for businesses. You use those cards to buy your requirements for your business. Then other thing, you should be ready for investment. So you must know just getting money and putting in the business is not future nowadays. Every company has kind of investment in different areas. So you need to have diversified portfolio, I can say that, even in business. So second thing you should know, which are the funding and investment sources. Third thing, you should know accounting and bookkeeping. If you make a small error in your accounting, maybe nowadays we use software for that. Tally is the basic software we do have. So we should know how to keep those records. Small error can lead to financial loss for the company. Say if you are making some transaction and entries are not correct, and that can lead to high tax payment to the government. It could be. Otherwise, there could be imbalance in debit and credit. I'm not getting into this technical terms over here, but just we should know about these things being as entrepreneur or startup. Then taxation. When you start business, we should read the entire tax regulation we do have. Now we have GST normally for everything except fuel and alcohol or a few other things. Everything is under GST now. So before getting to business, we should know which are your tax liabilities and obligations if you start this business in India. Or maybe if you're going for export, for example, you should know you need to pay some kind of duty or not in India or abroad. So we need to get aware about this taxation as well. It's a part again financial literacy. Next thing is risk management. Now, see, producing something is okay, very good. Even traveling somewhere is not safe for us. It's not about external things, but it can be certain thing happens. So to avoid those kinds of troubles in a business, nowadays business goes for insurance. We've seen that something happened in the company and it goes getting into fire, and if they have insurance, they are safe. If not, it is financial loss for the company. And there are cases where company became bankrupt due to such kind of loss. So insurance can cover that risk for us. So we must know which are the resources we need to get insurance for your business, for your company, maybe the products or the entire company. Nowadays, even they have insurance for breakdown of machineries. And if machine breaks down, it can be covered by insurance company. And next thing is legal aspects. That's fine. There are legal things behind each and every business. How to register a company from the day one, how to decide even name of the company. If your name is contradictory with any other company, so they can file a case against you. So consultant can help you for that how to get company registered under companies. So again, it's a legal thing. And apart from that, if you are in production, which can pollute the environment, just for example, it can be much more things. So you should know which are the formalities you need to complete before getting into that business. So you're producing a chipset, use silicon for that, and that needs kind of some kind of burning of some material, and that pollute the environment. So your government can guide you that what kind of certificate you require to which says it is under control, pollution under control, like we buy for vehicles. Without that, is not legal. Similar way, such companies may need to look for such kind of compliances. Then how to start office, which area. There can be so many things. So your consultant can help you out for that, those legal aspects. That's why we have a consultant in the company. We have legal firms in the country, which can help you to get into all these aspects without any trouble. There are a few things we should know about that, the key areas of financial literacy, starting from basic financial management to the legal aspect. So each and every, this topic has a course, full course of that. I'll tell you how it can be done. Resources and initiative we do have, in Government of India. So nowadays, Government of India has two things for us as Startup India. And not only that, we have even private funding as well. We will get into that as well. Now a Shark Tank, you might have heard about this series we can watch in I think Sony Live, where they fund different businesses. It could be startup, it could be only established business, it depends. One thing, we have Startup India program, and we talk on that after this financial literacy, and then we have Mudra loan. So we have this micro units development and refinance agency which provide assistance to small businesses. It can be startup, it can be existing business, it depends. But our focus is on startups. So this Mudra loan is also very helpful for us. We should know how to get all those fundings. Banks can help you to get into that. Secondly, we have a website for the Government of India, which can guide you throughout for each and everything. And others also have a consultant for that. So which can guide you properly what documents are required to procure your company's licensing and other things. They can guide you properly and for each and every document. So documents are perfect. You can get everything in one shot. Then we also have some educational resources. These resources are different, right? Starting from normal, we can say Coursera, edX, U Academy, even some institutions like us also providing training to new entrepreneurs. So what happens when you go into institution? Say if you're going online with Coursera, edX, or maybe nowadays we have some courses which you can enroll yourself for being an entrepreneur. You can learn something from there about basic financial things to the advanced one. It's up to you. Apart from that, if you think that, no, we need hands-on kind of thing, then you can approach institutions like us, like for MDPs, where they'll guide you from basic thing to the advanced thing, they can guide you that how to understand every financial thing, plus how to start a business, basic to advanced level. Like I teach some courses where I just guide students to get into export business. So I just talk about different documentation part of that. So like that, we have institutions in the country, almost every institution which are into this, they provide training to entrepreneurs, especially young one. Anybody can join that. So which can help you out to get into all these things which are required for a business. Then we have incubator and accelerators things, like we also have incubator for businesses. So we fund up to 2 crores to the businesses if we like the idea. So like that, they need to submit their business plan. If everything is okay, everything is fine, and our team assess that, they find it has a merit. So our incubation center even have funding up to 2 crores. Like that, the institution has. So going to IIMs and IITs institution in the country, they have such fundings. Not apart from that, you are told about Shark Tank. In that, even they look for funding, plus they also get mentors over here. They mentor them, they mentor entrepreneurs till the point they establish their business in the country for their products. Apart from that, even when you get into such things, you get networking with different entrepreneurs and you can share resources. You may have something better than others. Others can get benefit out of your product which you have. So that networking can help you to get into that business. And which is good, always good, to share resources, right? Instead of wasting resources in the country. That's better for us, always. Then a workshop and seminars, I told you about that institution have this. Apart from that, FICCI, CIA, NESCOM, they also have such workshops. If you get into the website, you can get schedule of their workshops. For which purpose, for which kind of topic they're covering to that. Apart from that, we have state-wise even CII units where they provide training to entrepreneurs. Even apart from that, we have MSME. MSME also provides training to entrepreneurs. So they spend money on them and they guide them how to get into business. Sometimes they sponsor some events where they guide entrepreneurs and new businesses to get into business, into market. Apart from that, we bank and NGOs. Even NGOs are there which look into these aspects. They guide small businesses, especially cottage industries or home industries, that how to be well aware of financial literacy. So they do have that. So we have resources like anything in the country. We just need to explore that. Then we have mentorship and networking. I told about mentorship. When you're getting into business and you are not so maybe well aware of things, you can have a mentor. That mentor will provide all the guidance, advices to you till your business is established. Even after that, it's up to you. Similar way, we have academic mentors. You get into some institutions for any training program. You get a mentor as a professor who has knowledge of these things, that how to get into market, what is the things theoretically, they'll guide you throughout your entire journey. And then once you are done with that, then they will guide you at advanced level after that. Second thing, we have entrepreneurship networks also. Like we have one is called TIE, the Indus Entrepreneurs. Like that, there are so many in the country. Not only this, I just put an example of that. So what happens, you can see there what they are facing as a problems. What are the different sources they have for funding? If they're getting to some sources of funding, what risk it has. So we can discuss those things in those networks. That could be better for us to get such resources in the country. We do have. If you get into CII, if you even they have network, they have membership. So what happens? Nowadays we have very fast communication method is WhatsApp or maybe Instagram. So where they share their thoughts every time. So when they get into any business, they share that what I face as a problem in my business and how it was rectified by which entity. Looking for, say, bank loan, for example, for business, which bank can offer you good interest rate for business, and where you need to have less documentation than other banks. If bank looking for any collateral or not, all those things can get into this. Although bank can also help you if you get going to bank for a business loan or corporate loan, they can help you. They can guide you for each and every document you need or what you need to get a loan from the bank. That's one thing to have. Then digital tools and apps. If you are getting to, say, accounting, I told you, is a basic, is a tally software, then a QuickBook, we have Joho books. There's so many. Even we have small application, even a smart device. You download that application and you can just have your accounts handled by that small software in your hand, in your palm. And sometimes it is not free of cost, then you have to pay some amount every month or every year to get the premium version of that application. That can be done. Second thing, we have tools for budgeting and financial planning. Like it is wallet app, there's a money control, there's a clear tax, which can help you to manage your everything, your finances and taxes as well. Apart from that, we're a consultant. Does use some softwares. Sometimes we are not good with the technology. It may happen. We are not perfect for each and everything. If somebody asks me to use Tally, I cannot use. I don't know how to use it. I'm a professor, but I'm not a professor of finance. So they can ask me, can you use Tally, how to make entries in that? I'm not aware of that. So we are not perfect. So in such cases, what we can do, we can take help from third party, which are consultants, which can help you to buy software at a good price, plus they give support as well throughout your entire journey, every time. So even when you buy software for the institution, for university, for finance software, so they update their softwares every year, maybe sometime between as well. And they give support till the time we use the software. You said ClearTax is a platform, good platform to manage your taxes. So they can help you out with the entire journey. It's a free or paid version. You can decide on that based on business capabilities, and you can get help from them easily throughout your entire business operations during your entire tenure of your business. Then thing is that we go to know accounting, finance, account, and all those things, but how to learn all those things? That's a question for us. And I can say, you can say, no, I'm not that much educated that I should know this, all those things. I'm not what is finance and accountancy. I'm just 10 to 12 past. Learning all those things has no restriction. Till the time you know some English letters and you know how to read and how to write, that's enough for us to understand. Next thing is a skill set. And skill set is different than the degree what you have. Even a person who has highest degree may not be well aware of softwares. Like I'm not for every software. And the people who are not so educated in terms of degree, but they know a lot of things which are far, far better than us. So it depends. It's all skill set. It's not only about education you have, it's about the skill set you get into through this financial literacy. So first thing is continuous learning. So you should read books. There's one habit every startup should have, that look at the trends, what is happening around the globe, not only India. Look at any business in the country, look at any economy in this world, they are impacted by global financial changes that we know. So we should know, we should just read newspaper, write some magazines, some books, and look at that, what's happening around the globe, so we can connect that with our business, what we have. It's not only about the business you have in the country, sometimes we look for even export, know what to do. In that case, you should know what country need to be targeted for your business, how to get into that country, through consultant, through agent, or through what, or that export. You can decide. Apart from that, I told you about online courses. Apart from that, we have MDPs in institutions. You can connect with us that we are looking for this skill set for these many people from a company. Can you help us? So like that, we have institutions in the country. Just let us know that I want this knowledge of finance or marketing, that how to go for creative marketing techniques. Again, that can help your business. So for that, we are not aware of all those things, but you can get those kinds of training in the institutions. They can help you out for that. Second thing is financial discipline. It's not that you're getting fun and just using like that. We need to be disciplined about our financial things. What comes in, how to manage that and how to spend that. You cannot spend in financial things. It can be disaster for anybody. We've seen companies when they could not manage finances, what happened to those companies? They're almost gone. So we need to look at that. Look at each and everything you get into your business. That money came from where? For which purpose? Profit or loss? Then if you're getting loss, how to minimize that loss first? You can't convert loss and profit instantly. It takes time. One thing we use in management, or maybe everybody uses that, especially our CS, break even. It's the first goal for any business to achieve break even, where our inflow equal to outflow. Means whatever we spend for the business, we recover that. The first target for any business. Second target is to achieve highest market share. Third target they normally keep is higher inflow of cash, then profit. This is a process we do have for any business. So we should be highly disciplined when it comes to finances for the company. Third thing is professional advice. I told you we are not expert in each and everything. If you ask me some typical formulas of intentional financial management, I'm not aware of that. I could be dumped in that case. I said, no, I can't do this. So what we can do, we can take help from professional people. Like I could see this as key associate people are helping the businesses like anything. So these people are meant for that actually. That we are not expert. We have somebody sitting expert. For that, we just need to pay some charges for the charge. And our things are automated. And I've seen that. I spoke to some companies. They said that hiring consultant is better than hiring resources, because they spend less and there's no liability for resources. If you're hiring a lot of people for finances, and just get into one company that, right, I need your help for this thing, right? They'll help you out. The work is done instantly at lesser time and without wasting the resources. You just spend, which I calculated with one discussion with many companies, they hardly spend 1/10 of what they need to spend if they hire their own people for that work. Look at around the globe. India is hub of now manufacturing for many companies, including big names. Why? Resources only. So what they do, they get advice from professional people that how to save cost of production. And being a startup, you should be highly efficient to minimize cost of production. And that's why we need professionals for that. Networking, I told you, so you can meet your similar business kind of people. We can say peer-to-peer meeting. We can mentors for businesses and professionals like we do have today with us. So they can help us. The networking links many people together. Sometimes events by CIA or different entities. Why there are such events? To have networking. I've seen in Bangalore, MSME, they conduct a lot of workshops, seminars every time. Being part of some, as speaker, I could see that. In one of my event, I could see more than 100 startups. So I could meet 100 startups people. So I can invite them as a guest lecturer because they are real field. And even not only that, it's not only beneficial for me, even for business as well. So they can get to know who's producing what, how this person can help me out to get to my business. How can I use those resources which the person already has? So a lot of things will happen when you're going to networking has a lot of power that we know already. This was about financial literacy, and we'll take maybe some questions at the end. I'll spend another 20 minutes maximum, and then we get into question answer. If you have any question, although I'm going to answer academically, I may not have the perfect answer for your question, but I try to answer as much as possible. Then we get into, I was just getting into the Startup India website. I just look at resources which are authenticated. So we should know which are the things funding sources Government of India has for us as startup, although we have the Startup India program. So first thing we do have is Startup India seed fund scheme they have. So if you are early young entrepreneur or just you started your venture, you may have such guidance from Government of India that which are the funding available for you, which are seed funding, the initial funding you do have. Apart from that, they call some angel investors. Apart from that, we do have programs like Shark Tank. There are a lot of things. I'm just talking about now Government of India, what they have. Apart from that, even government can help you through the banks that how to start it. Even banks can help you for seed funding initially. That's what we do have. Apart from that, a lot of things. If you're getting into such programs, Startup India program, when you get more better innovative ideas. I could see that. I could see some businesses and they were thinking something else. And once you get into such program, when they discuss with such people in some networking, things change drastically. So one resource we do have in India is Startup India seed funding, so which we can avail. On the website I mentioned at the down, startupindia.com, it has all information regarding this. Sometimes what we do, we just rely on our own knowledge, which is limited for us. We are not perfect. So let's get into some authenticated resources which can help us actually to know the things better than anybody else. So this one website, you can explore the website, startupindia.gov.in. You must be knowing that, but you can explore that for your thing. Then how this thing works. So I just took from Government of India that how this thing works. It first go to DPIIT. So that person is going to analyze entire business plan. After that, it goes to expert advisory committee. So they're going to analyze it again, things that yes, this business has some kind of merit or not, whether it is beneficial for the country. The main goal for the Government of India is to achieve high growth rate. That we know. That's why they help startups. They have businesses which are in export. So one word we have for that, EOU, export oriented units, SEZ companies, STP, like software and technology production companies. So those companies are always getting help from Government of India, which are into business, which are into making our GDP faster than before. So that is what we need that. So they analyze that. Then they get into incubators. Incubators can help you to grow business faster than anything else because they have all kinds of assistance for you. And Government of India has some condition with that incubator that it should be running for at least for the last 2 or 3 years. It means those incubators have knowledge for you. They can help you out. And then you get into DPIIT recognized startup once it is done, right? Again, it takes us 2 years time. So it happened 2 years, yeah, I think before 2 years, less than 2 years, yeah, 2 years before. So then you become recognized startup. I tell the numbers also how much number we do have for such startups in India. So one thing, then second thing Government of India has is Startup India Investor Connect. So at this platform, what they have nowadays is not only one-to-one meeting. Nowadays we use AI. So what AI does once we enter our details, so AI activates the things, and that AI will mix match things, and they're going to have best match for you that you can get this investor for your business, and those information are available in the Government of India. It's not only now manual things we do have, but normally we had before. Apply for funding, then they look at your plan, everything as a process we had in the previous slide. Once things are done, then they try to match who can invest in this business, which are the investors available in the country or abroad maybe. Nowadays, it's not required. They just put in the system, AI works for them, and they get mixed match. Okay, this company can get funding for you, for this. This is what they do. Second thing, right, if you are entrepreneurs, so they're going to help you for each and every step. They'll help you out to reach multiple investors with one application. You can see the connectivity of Government of India nowadays. It's a platform. This website I given down. You can check into that website. You can get all details. I'm getting information from the Government of India only, nowhere else, because we are not aware of that lot of things. It's not manual mix match. Nowadays, AI based, and which can get into multiple resources now. They can even tell you what are resources available for you. You can get into this company, or this country, or maybe this person who can invest for your company without a single thought. It means our task is much more faster. So we as startup can benefit out of it easily. This data we have again by Government of India. Total startup registered 6,565. Investors are 126. They invest in multiple companies. And they have total 41 investment opportunities. And startup which responded to this is 5,867. So we can say response rate is almost 80%. Look at the quantum of your investment and then startups. So we have good chances, good opportunity by Government of India, which can help us to reach to multiple investors now at one click. Just apply online. I'll give a link also in the next slide. I'll show you slides with the Ask Associate, so we can share with you if you need that. So in that, take links. Otherwise, you can get in this website. Nothing to do. Everything is transparent, clear, simple. You apply for your startup, you register yourself, apply for funding, and let's see the magic, what government does. Third thing, what we have to discuss by Startup India is credit guarantee scheme for startups. Again, it's by Government of India. You may be aware of that. Academy should know that, because when we teach courses like international business or entrepreneurship or maybe business model generation, so we discuss all those things with the students in a classroom. Most of students, when they are choosing entrepreneurship as their specialization, sometimes they look for business only. Can be domestic business or international business. They can decide. So what they have, they're putting some specific limit for loans, which can be extended only to member institutions. It's not for everybody. It's only for member institutions. So they find borrowers and they fund those startups. Apart from that, we have budget notification, right, by DPIIT, and they change that on timely basis. There's a budget available nowadays on Startup India, the current one. I think they have 2023, not the latest one. Latest one will come later. I checked that. So you can look at that. There's notification that where the funding source will come. And that's again for internally, not for export. Apart from that, we do have Government of India scheme, right, where they are funding to commercial banks, to small finance bank, to public sector bank, private sector bank, right, venture debt funds. They have many companies, and those things are registered financial companies. Anybody, XYZ company, private finances cannot come into this picture, nowhere else. I'll have data for that, how many banks are working for us under Government of India. We have that. So these should be SEBI registered, right, investment fund companies. They cannot just simply go and invest in any company in startups. They should be registered through SEBI. If not registered, they will not entertain such companies. And we should not go for such companies which are not registered at SEBI, private investment companies. If not, do not even think of such companies. Something may happen wrong with the business, and that could be a financial loss for a business. We should avoid that. Look at data. So data which I got till 2023, September 12. So there are total 25 registered members, which are funding startups. And out of that, 11 are public sector banks, 7 are private sector banks, including major banks like Axis Bank, HDFC Bank, one foreign bank, I think it's Standard Chartered Bank, which is also into this business. One is small finance bank. It's an EU small finance bank, which is part of that. One AIF, one financial institution, and 3 NBFCs. Look at there are 20 funds. Even many banks have such branches only for businesses. It's against scheme of Government of India. So you have multiple sources for funding through the banks or other financial companies. I just put the link of that. So if you need to explore that, again, Startup India is a website link where you can explore different schemes by Government of India, which works under different ministries. Ministry of Commerce especially, it works under that. What they have in this link, which I can explore much more, the strengthening, upscaling, and nurturing local innovation livelihood. It just goes with my name. And I was surprised to see that when I looked at first and long back that they have Sunil as their scheme. So they have, and you can explore that. So in this, they talk about technological delivery, then how to create a good model for your business. They can help you out for that. That's why they put names: strengthening, upskilling, nurturing local innovation for livelihood. So they start from strengthening a business, how to upscale that. So these all schemes work on that, not only just funding you. So they're starting from funding is a basic thing you need from the Government of India. Then how to strengthen a business, they have that. How to upscale that, take to the next level. After that, you need nurturing for the business. So they look after that. They have policies for that. Then second thing, the technology interventions for addressing societal needs. So now technology is not only for business, but how to tackle as a business. It's not that you just start a business, everything is fine. You need to contribute to society as well, maybe in terms of generating employment, in terms of CSR activities, whatever you have. So we have such programs by Government of India. Then capacity building for community-based organizations, CBOs, NGOs, many things you do have. Even their social startups, how to make startups right within a group. They have that. This scheme program is by Government of India. We may be aware of that, we may not be. So that's why we get into such FDPs. We get to know that what kind of initiatives we do have, programs we have by Government of India. Then technology intervention for disabled and elderly people, right? They call it. It's not a business only for younger. So we just talk about young entrepreneurs here, but scheme is for everybody, not only for young entrepreneurs. So we're tied for that, which they help out those people which are disabled or they are in their late early ages. And then we are scheme for young scientists and technologists. If you are good in software production and you have something different skills that you have, you can get such funding from Government of India. The scheme for that is called SYSD scheme. They do have that. Again, it's available on the website of Government of India. You can just get into that and get all details how to apply for such funding. Not only that, how to cover remote villages, how to cover tribes in that. Even we are scheme for that. Tribes have their own business there, handicap business. They are something different from the world. For that, we also have a plan. Scheduled caste sub-plan and tribe sub-plan. Government of India has that. And they have science, technology, and innovation hubs for them. So those hubs are helping those tribes and scheduled castes to get into business, again, startup business or maybe small businesses. Apart from that, so we talk about women empowerment. Yes, we do have a scheme for that when they are getting into business. So they have science and technological for women, SNT for women, where they have women technological park, where they get into software production and technological things. So we have schemes for that. If you are a woman entrepreneur, you get benefit out of that. If you are a techie person, right, being a woman, you can get help from Government of India, funding from Government of India, and the guidance and mentoring everything throughout your journey. That is there. The last thing in that, we do have Community Resilience and Resource Center, CRRC. It's not that only just talk about the businesses, everybody, elderly, women, young. No, it's beyond that. So you can get those program initiatives, you can attend those programs for Government of India and you get well aware of that. What can we do when you need to serve community? And that we have. I just got the data that how many startups have been grown for the last 5 years. So that I could not get, but yes, it could be better number this time. So look at that change from 2019 to 2020. Now I think we have almost more than 40,000 startups in India. More than that. Look at the quantum of that. These are recognized startups by Government of India through the schemes. In 5 years, 10,000 to 33, 34, 35,000 roughly. You can see the change, which means people are well aware of things. They know how to get services, how to get things, right? It's a later thing, but these are data. You can see data which we can see that easily. So there is potential for startups in that country. A lot of schemes, we need to get benefit out of that. There is a startup ecosystem in India. You can see that I just getting into some papers and all, I found a lot of information. So there is 15 times increase in total funding in startups for the last 5 years. Apart from that, 9 times of increase in number of investors for startups. Look at the quantum. People are encouraged to invest money in startups. Let's finish quickly, have less time. So 7x increase in number of incubators. We also have an incubator in a university which funds startups up to 2 crore, which I understand. Apart from that, we are Unicorn of India. You might have heard about this. In India, by October 3rd, 2023, India has 101 unicorn companies. And valuation was $349.61 billion. You can see these were startups at some point of time, and now they are unicorn companies. Industry funding, so I just go through that quickly, so we can put some time for question and answer. So we have 5 multilateral engagements undertaken as a part of the global collaborations by Government of India. With 20 international bridge for startup exposure and support. With 25 active countries in addition to bridge countries. The 20 bridge, actual bridge what we have between countries, India and other country. Apart from the 25 active countries which invest in Indian startups. And we have more than 850 startups, beneficiaries, and many more are now. That's across 1,000 this year. And the bridge companies, you can say India, Australia, India, Saudi. I don't think it's visible or not, but we get into that. We can just look at that. So look at the quantum. So we have 20 such things, and many more are increasing. These are bridge countries. We are getting funding for startup. 850, and now more than that are getting benefit out of that funding. So last thing to finish before I just take 2 more minutes. So which are personal funding resources as a startup? So your own savings, nothing to discuss, that you have your own funding you can use for your startup business. If not, you have friends and family, they can fund you for business. And third thing is credit cards. If you have credit cards, you can utilize that for business purchase. Nowadays, they have business credit cards nowadays, which can be used for business purchase. Personal loans, you can get personal loans. Sometimes getting business loan difficult than personal loan. Other way, again, it's a very risky. We know that the business is not performing well, so difficult to pay EMI sometimes for us. Fourth thing is home equity loan or line of credit. So you can have a loan on your home loan itself, or maybe on home, and sometimes they give line of credit. So kind of overdraft, I can say that. They have that. Bootstrapping, which is having much more flexibility for you as a business. So when I get to this, if you have anything, you can connect with me later on. Crowdfunding, you can go for crowdfunding, which is another way without spending your savings, without being into any kind of loan. Then you can have your own business people, peer-to-peer lending, so they can help each other in the business. These are few methods, right, to manage your finances or your business. Now this is all from my end. These are my contact details. You can have from even Ask Associate. And if you have any question, anything you have, right? So I kept almost 10 minutes for any question answer. You can ask questions.
Yeah. Dr. Kumar, I believe there are 3 questions already in the chat box. If you can just go through them.
Okay, just give me a second. Let me check. I think this is students only. Yeah, it's there. What are eligibility criteria for MSME to apply for Mudra loan, and what are the different categories of Mudra loan available for them? Okay. How do Mudra loan benefit MSME in terms of, okay, it's a similar question. What impact have Mudra loan had on the growth and sustainability of MSME in India, particularly in terms of job creation, business expansion, and eco which I checked with the, I know the deputy director of MSME, we used to meet sometimes with some programs. So they normally start with 1 CR, that you should have this business idea with you. And again, it can vary. It's up to you. If you can be specific that what kind of production you're going to have, what you're trying to produce, right? That I just need that idea. Then I can tell you exactly how much eligibility required for what purpose. But overall, I'll tell you. So they start, sometimes they say 10 lakhs, sometimes they 50 lakhs, sometimes they 1 crore, sometimes they 10 crores, depends. It's small to the large business you have or big business you have. So they start normally from 10 lakhs onwards, very small business. And in Mudra loan, you have categories for handicraft, you have for social production, you have for export, you have for even for manufacturing of small product. There are so many categories in that. You can avail a Mudra loan for that. Again, it's up to the client and you. So based on your product kind you have, they'll decide eligibility for the loan. And range can start from 10 lakh to 10 crores. And more than that, it depends on business. And you're saying Mudra loan benefit MSME? Obviously, when you are not having that funding easily available from the bank, direct loan, maybe personal loan, something. So Mudra loan is going to be a scheme. Once your plan is successful, is approved by Government of India, this Mudra loan can help to establish business quickly and fastly. Because not only getting loan, it's guidance as well. It's still mentorship, we call it, so that we have. And normally, sometimes interest rates start from 0% in some cases. It's handicap product. So in that, subsidy given by Government of India to those banks, and up to base rate. It's not like a personal loan we do have at a high interest rate. So they charge interest in up to base rate. Depends on the business you have. If you're getting into small cottage industry, very small company, and Government of India has scheme for that, they put subsidy for interest rate. So in that case, effectively, you are paying 0 interest on your loan. Nothing to pay, just pay principal amount. You will be getting kind of subsidy from Government of India. I think this I have these 2 questions of that. And yes, obviously, when you are getting into business and you create jobs, there are 2 things. One thing is job creation. Thus, again, if you get into that, you get help from Government of India quickly and fastly. There are schemes for that separately. Secondly, if your business under SCJET or maybe EOU under export-oriented unit, your things are much more easier than anybody else. and we get into export business to Startup India or maybe MSME, you are getting international market for that. And in that, not only you get help from government of India in terms of subsidy or loan at low interest rate or funding, when you're getting promotion by government of India in other countries. So they promote your products in other countries. So this is how can entrepreneurship education be integrated into existing curriculum. Yeah, we have one compulsory course in our masters, even for BBA, not only for masters, even for BBA, MBA, BCom, we have mandatory course, entrepreneurship and new venture or venture creation. Everybody has to go to that course. It's a mandatory course, which one thing. Second thing, what we do as a institution, not only we or everybody offers that we have one minor specialization in entrepreneurship. We study 3 courses. One is how to generate business models, how to manage finances, and how to become successful entrepreneur. So these 3 courses being offered is somebody looking for business of any kind as entrepreneur. So we offer those courses. Then to study these 3 courses in the masters in 2nd semester, 3rd semester, and 4th semester. Right, and we already have course separate for entrepreneurship. We do have minor specialization plus one mandatory course for that. That's the same question, I think. And then we have this existing course with entrepreneurship. Yes, we don't need to replace that. We already have by removing entrepreneurship from the curriculum. Now see, nowadays things are different. Which at us when I get to my class of any kind. So I just guide them how to become job creators, not job seekers. That's our target. This target should be. So in our course, we never thought of doing entrepreneurship course from our program because they should know how to start their own business. I hope my questions answer was satisfying for the people who are asking these questions. If you have still further query, you can put your question, of course.
Sure. I would like to request the audience who has any further queries, they may simply raise your hands. Whoever has any further queries may raise your hands and ask your question directly. No questions from you? Deepti, Samir, Lama, Bhushan Bhale, Renu Gupta, Deepika?
No, sir.
No questions at all?
If there any student and if they have professors, they are getting into any program and you think that how do I incorporate curriculum or maybe any course, it is there. I teach the different variety of courses starting from normal entrepreneurship to the exim trade, of how to get export import trade. All documentation, I just guide them to that. And I've seen that not everybody, but I could see at least 1 or 2 students get into that business, export business, and they are doing very well.
Exactly. Thank you, Dr. Sunil, for a wonderful speech. Please do share your email address in the chat box for any queries or discussions our audience may have.
Sure.
Moving ahead, we welcome Dr. Devenshu Srivastava, the Associate Dean of JD Goenka University, with over a decade of experience in teaching and research. He is a passionate professor of law with extensive industry connections and expertise in curriculum development. Dr. Srivastava excels in organizing key law school events such as moot courts, synopsiums, and legal aid events, and is deeply involved in research-oriented activities. Now, I would like to request Dr. Devenshu Srivastava to commence his speech and share his insights with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yeah. If I can just take a minute of your speech, Mr. Srivastava. I would like to request all the participants again from my heart that you may switch on your webcams and make it a two-way interaction. We would appreciate an interactive session here. Everyone, please. Renu ji, Samir ji, Bhushan ji, Neetu ji, everyone, please. I request you all to switch on your webcams and cooperate. We would like to make it an interactive two-way session rather than a one-way boring lecture जैसा हमारे classrooms में usually होता है. थोड़ा interactive होगा तो हमारे panelists के लिए भी काफी अच्छा होगा और आपको भी थोड़ा अच्छा लगेगा. You can also hear and we can look at you. Wherever you are sitting, you are driving, you may just switch on your webcam, keep it on the side from your mobile or laptop and just make it a two-way interaction. Nothing else. Thank you, everyone. Please continue, Dr. Srivastava.
Thank you so much. I felt to be offended as well on a point when you said that the classrooms are not interactive and that too with an academician. But no, on a very lighter note on that point, no, I really would want that, that yes, let us make it to be an interactive thing, because I'll tell you, the entire theme of this particular session, and that's all compliment to the entire team of the Strategic Alliance there, is one very important core component is entrepreneurship. Now, the entrepreneurs, as we know, are not the people who are introverts. They might be introverts at certain point of their time, but to be a successful entrepreneurs, and I'm setting up a good context of what the topic that was being allocated to me. um, I was contacted by the team to take topics, and then I guess when it came down to all the topics that were given on to, I guess it would have been a good thing to take on to. Now, the entire session, I'll not take it as an academician, but someone who himself has been an entrepreneur. Successful, unsuccessful, that would be a second thing for the people to take it up. Uh, Along with it, what I generally consider to be most successful of portion of my part or my journey of life is that I've been a helping hand in providing not only the legal help to the young entrepreneurs or the entrepreneurial business or the startups, but also how and at what stage of their things. And believe me, each of these things, I do not charge for anything, and the simple purpose is that if we can help us, and we all, I am particularly of that motto, that whatever we can help each other, together it would come to you at the most undesired moment of your life. That again is one of the real motives as well and objectives of the entire Strategic Alliance team that has made me associated with them also. So to just to cut things short, I'll quickly come to my presentation, and I hope my screen is visible to all. If you can get a quick hint on that, I hope it is visible.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, it
Can you
is.
just do one quick help? If you can help me, that if you can see the slides getting changed as well.
yeah, we can.
Okay, perfect. So the topic of the next 40-45 minutes that I'm going to discuss, and again, each of you are at liberty to just unmute yourself and to get back to me on any of the points, or if that's the case, please use the chat box. I'll also try to connect parallelly and see and keep an eye on the chat box as well. But just to add one very important component, just a second, yeah. So just to add a very important component is the purpose, and I genuinely feel that why a case study of a successful young entrepreneurs is important, or because we can learn from the mistakes of others. That's exactly the journey of an entrepreneur. Today, I guess major of us here are very much fascinated when we see the Shark Tank's episodes on our screens, both the Indian version of it or the extract version that we have taken, or the idea that we have borrowed it from the major franchise from US itself. Now, all these things said and done, you'll find that a young entrepreneur is or is definitely a person who has gone through majors. So what we see today, and definitely I like to bring ahead, as you can see the image on your screen. So yes, when he is at that final and the well earned thing, I'm calling that person to be a successful young entrepreneur. But believe me, I would disagree with the title that was given to me. An entrepreneur himself is a suggestive terminology that he or she is a successful person. Now, it's not merely on the terms that I should measure a person on the basis of what would be his turnaround or its turnovers for a company, but from where that person has stood up to, where others were striving in the same classroom to go or to take up something that we call it as the traditional job. She or he took that particular step of starting his own, where he is the CEO of its own company. Yes, it definitely comes with some uh, sides which is not yet seen onto. But yes, he was or she was the one who was ready to take risks and constantly seek for new opportunities. This is, as you can see, these two terminologies. requires a lot of patience, requires a lot of courage. And that is where I always say that an entrepreneur is always a successful person. An entrepreneur has that ability to take risk. Yes, knowing the parameters, what can be the ifs, what can be the buts, but he is or she is ready to take that particular risk. He also seeks an opportunity constantly, where the world sees something, okay, this cannot be done, this is the problem that would come. And the best example the country saw was during the every time of the COVID. We saw such young entrepreneurs coming in that made the Indian government itself realize that this is the best time where they can put the full paddle on the accelerator of the Make in India program. And these have seen and chances, found number of solutions and empower themselves and others as well. Now, the coming slides, what I've tried, and it was a very tough task for me because of a believer that yes, entrepreneurs are someone who themselves have to take that particular point. But what I've also tried, and this is coming as a caveat number one, is I've tried to take one area, and from each area, I have tried to borrow down one particular successful young entrepreneur or an entrepreneur that was young, even if not by age, but at least by heart. Number one. Number two, a caveat. Please do not think that I have or there could have been a better person. I would totally resonate with you, yet, yes, it always depends upon the lenses by which we try to see the world. So, on that particular note, I'm starting off with a particular point that yes, when we are bringing things into scenario, the most important component of a young, and this case studies would help you to understand what they have done. And at the last, to conclude what I'll have done in the course of my presentation, try to culminate the one of the best thing that these young entrepreneurs, number one, would have common, or someone that they have already grasped onto. Now, to start off, I'm mentioning a name of a person called as Mr. Ramesh Babu. Now, Ramesh Babu is a first generation entrepreneur. Now, you'll always come on to me, sir, entrepreneurs are first generation only. But when I'm using a first generation entrepreneur, I am trying to tell you that what was his family or earlier sort of business. Coming from that particular mindset in our country, in our societal values, where, for example, a barber's son would be a barber, a carpenter's son would be these are skill based professions. And generally, the skills are inherited from generation to generation. But then from there, when a young a person from amongst our society took that particular thing to take it ahead. Now, the first and the foremost that we see is Mr. Ramesh Babu. Now, if I try to give you a small brief about him, Ramesh's father was a barber, and as I said, a skilled business in our country where you'll find these particular professions being running from one to one to one. Now, Ramesh's father was a barber. He passed away when Ramesh was 7, leaving behind a small barber shop. And by the time Ramesh exercised or got onto his value, he understood that yes, doing a family business of Barbary and other things would not leave him that particular thing. And that's the moment where he realized in himself that an entrepreneur Ramesh is inside him and is taking and asking to take that particular leap of faith, which is undoubtedly with risk, which is undoubtedly with a proper thing. So in 1989, Ramesh took over the barber shop, expanded it into the car rentals. Now, one very important thing that I need to mention out here, that he expanded the barber shop to the car rental shop. Just to brief it out here, the best reason or the idea that popped up to Ramesh ji was only one. That many a times when he was a small village and the only way of things where the entire population was relying on the state transport department, which was timely and all in total daytime, there were only 3 shifts that was taking on to. This was this query. He started off it as a car rental alongside. And when I'm talking about expansion, he did not leave his family thing because that was a source of income. Also, you may realize this fact that if at that particular moment he would have left that particular thing, he would have been in two fixes. Number one, the societal fix. But before coming to the societal fix, I'll try to hint towards a personal fix which he would have been. The personal fix would have been that one established source of income would have been ended. The societal fixes that I'm talking about was the society who would have said, okay, because of this, their father did not wanted it, and you are ending that particular thing. All these two things could have been a bigger block or a clog to his mind itself. Just not to make it a block or a clog in his mind, he expanded that car rental business, and today he has built a thriving luxury car business, which is one of its kind with the best of the business in the country. Now, the major link between the two is, as I'm talking today, seems out to be a very healthy journey. But what was very important is the perseverance that Ramesh ji held on. So Ramesh studied and obtained a diploma while helping to support his family by renting out the barber shop. Now, you may learn this particular fact that in order to, he could have sold that particular property, he could have, but just for that entrepreneurial shift, he wanted certain things to be taken on to, and that we will discuss in the coming slides as well. So that perseverance that Ramesh ji had was the basic thing that helped him to be on this wonderful path that we see from an humble beginning to an entrepreneurial shift. From the second, I'll move towards majors, and I guess we all know him, the young entrepreneur Mark Zuckerberg. Now, do not consider him a Zuckerberg of today. Do not consider the Facebook, the Insta, the Meta as we are talking about today. I'm trying to reflect you towards the young Zuckerberg when he took that particular thing on. And on that note, I'll insist each one of you to watch that if you have the Netflix subscription. And at no point I'm trying to publicize those particular things, but do watch that wonderful documentary. There's a wonderful biography on the Mark Zuckerberg's thing as well. Now, Mark Zuckerberg showed an early aptitude for computer programming. He was also considered to be a dropout. He was considered as to be non-fit for his class at that particular time. So he was creating messaging software for his father's dental practice at the age of 12. And you may be very astonished again to take it up. Unlike to what we see in Indian scenario where the doctor's kid would generally be a doctor, a lawyer kid would generally become a lawyer, sorry, in the similar way, but the shift or the passion that Mark had for the software programming always insisted him to pursue that particular thing. And he did. So where from the first scenario, we studied a concept called as perseverance. Moving to my second young entrepreneur, I will use a term passion. And the passion is not only merely having a passion, but to have a passion for his or her own fashion. So at Harvard, Mark Zuckerberg co-founded Facebook, which quickly grew into 1 million users by the end of 2004. And again, the purpose of mentioning Harvard out here is only one, that he never went or to continue his studies at Harvard. He wasn't unable to. But that was a place that is all the point. So I've always insist on that particular point when I'm borrowing the from Ramesh ji perseverance. I'm borrowing from Mark Zuckerberg the concept called as passion. So something in 2004 which we saw was at that time the biggest of all the social media handle that we had was Google owned Orkut. And today, as we are talking on to, we all know that Google has discontinued Orkut. Now, this is what the time is. The biggest competitors today are out of the market. I'd also like to bring this, that the journey from 2004 to 2024, a very short span of 20 years, but for an entrepreneurial business, a huge step to take and do. An entrepreneur business, if it is for 20 years in the market and surviving at that particular point with a global prospect, is something that should be called off. And from where Facebook started to where a parent company called as Meta, and now Meta not only owns our own WhatsApp or the Insta, but other things as well. To add on to one wonderful thing, which I would again or I would like to highlight out here that showcases Mark Zuckerberg's passion for technology is the incorporation for AI. The AI which Facebook, which Meta, which the WhatsApp and Insta uses is termed as Meta AI. And that is how the survival of the 20 years for his company and coming more 20 years is making him to be surviving and growing in the market as well. Now, the continuous growth has expanded Facebook globally with over 2.4 billion active monthly users by 2020. Zuckerberg was also the youngest billionaire the world has seen. Not only that, he has been featured on the Times Magazine cover by now with the twice of those particular facts. From perseverance to passion, a a concept that only Indians and hundred things can be taken on to. I'm moving towards Jyoti Nayak ji. Jyoti Nayak ji is considered to be the one along with the seven other women who started the concept of Lijjat Papad. The most tempting things, which I guess if we have a gathering of 50 odd people out here, at least, and with confidence I can say that, at least 35 people would be consuming the papad from Lijjat company. Or if I am wrong as well, at least in your life you have consumed the product of Lijjat papads. Now, these were the 7 plus 1 8 ladies who not only, and I guess this is one common factor, whichever part of the country we belong to. When I proudly say myself that I started my basics from some as a very small district in Uttar Pradesh called as Gorakhpur. From there, when I moved for my studies to the central part as the capital of Madhya Pradesh, Bhopal, and now when I'm staying here in for past 10 odd months in Gurgaon in Haryana, one thing that I've seen common is the household and the power of the household women that we have. You'll always find, see, and let me be very clear on to the time when you see the festival of Holi out there. You'll find chips, you'll find papads, you'll find things to be taken on. You see winters, you'll find pickles or that particular format being ready on our rooftops, on other places as well. So, Miss Jyoti Nayak and 7 other women, they started Lijjat Papad with just rupees 80 and 4 packets of papad in 1959. I'll tell you one very important fact why I mentioned my study phase of Bhopal. So I went and I was lucky enough to do a small a video story on the Lijjat Papad with their Bhopal office to be taken on. And in the Bhopal factory that they had, it was all women. Number one, that's a peculiar thing that they had. It's still in common with other factories in the country. They joined hands with the women at the Anganwadis as well. That was promoting the self-help groups of women to take it up. And that is how they were taking off. So they started off their journey with rupees 80 and 4 packets of papad in 1959. Now, what is peculiar and what is still you see, and I'm urging each one of you, whenever you get time in your life, please do make a visit to such self-help groups. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. So whenever you go to these self-help groups, and specifically when I took this particular opportunity to go to this Bhopal office of thing, they have a wonderful board that they welcome on. This board has been highlighting the guiding principles of the Lijjat team. So Lijjat grew through self-reliance, quality focus, and the Gandhian simplicity without accepting donations. And they have turned down, believe me when I say this, they have turned down till date more than 100 crores of donations as well. And the very clear reason was, as I have rightly mentioned, the self reliance, the focus on the quality, and the Gandhian philosophy that they have on it. So, from perseverance to passion to principle is the third P that I'm trying to highlight that makes a young entrepreneur to be an exceptional entrepreneur. Now, self reliance, and that is the reason when I use the term that they have till date refused the donations by leading industrialists, by leading philanthropists of this world, is because she was very clear. She said, and there are certain wonderful documentaries on National Geographic Channel on Digit as well that I urge each one of you today to watch on to. She has said it very clearly that once we have taken a donation, this group of self-working women would be on a particular check. Plus, the present loop or the present network, and she uses that term that your network is your net worth. She uses that once we have this habit of getting into donations or high-end machines and everything, that is where the concept of principle would fade away. So the only reason why Lijjat is standing with Izzat today is because of the wonderful principles that they have on it. That has helped them to maintain the quality that they have. And when I use the term quality, believe me, when I say this, I saw each papad that was even now sub-segregated to the women help groups of Anganwadis in the district of Bhopal and nearby villages. I have seen each papad being getting measured, and you can check that in your home as well. Open the packet of Lijjat papad and measure the 10 or the 11 papad that you'll have in that particular packet. Each papad would measure nearly equal. And that equality has only come from the focus on quality. With that quality, with that Gandhian spirit, with that inherent feelings of self reliance, they have empowered women like anything. So today, Lijjat has employed more than 43,000 women members, making them economically independent, making them valiant in the society, making them remarkable and having their own name in the particular society. Now, you will also see an entrepreneur is not merely, and I'll borrow this line which Sir right before me has rightly mentioned, that emphasis on job creation is very important, even for an entrepreneur. So, from perseverance, from passion to principle, I'll move towards something which is very close to me in this particular presentation. An entrepreneur with disabilities is what I have written as a title. But believe me, my heart was paining when I was using the term with it. And I said, for me, it's not disability. For me, it's something which we have generally called it. And I love the terminology used by the Ministry of Social Justice, the Ministry of Government, the Government of India has used, called as they are not disabled, they are differently abled. And that's a power. That's a power that helps me to take that thing. I'm talking about S. Radhambika ji. Radhambika S is and company is the supplier of electronic component for the India space program. They are one of the longest tenure supplier to ISRO. Along with it, they have made that particular thing that nothing can prevent you if you have the perseverance, if you have the patience, if you have the passion, and if you are principled enough. What else is very important is that power. The power of being yourself. The power of being, it might be an issue, it might be, as I said, it might be a challenge. But what is the basic quality of an entrepreneur? Where others sees a challenge, an entrepreneur would always see an opportunity. And this was very well highlighted when I'm reflecting to this particular thing. It's not about a company who was supplying electronic components to India's space research program, but also understand it is also about training of more than 750 women who were dealing with their disabilities to become professionals. And as I said, and again I'll reiterate, it's not about getting a job, it's about creating a job. Radhambika ji has been honored by the president for her empowering the disabled community for the work where disability, and I'll give my example as well. A week back, I got the sprain in my leg. And from one building of my university to the other, I had to go. Everybody was so cautious enough to call for a club cart for me that could carry me from one place to the other. And the person who has his office on the second floor is a person who is fond of walking and running on the steps to reach my floor.
यार ये तो कौन लिंक भेज देते हैं ज्वाइन करो
Yes, Kajal.
मेरे को पता था ज्वाइन करना
Kajal, if you have any question, please.
मैं तो आपको मैं 2 साल पहले मैंने कल शादी था
Audible.
I guess there was a thing. Okay.
Dr. Shiva.
Yeah. So when I was suffering from that particular thing, and then I saw my own student from my university. She has a wonderfully electronically powered wheelchair. She is not able to walk because of her disablement. But believe me, she's one of those wonderful students of UID who does some sketch artists. And I was like, if she does that daily, I don't require a club card or any such thing. I went and said this thing for my presentation. I called her on stage and said, "You are a wonderful sketch artist," and she has designed it such wonderfully well that her pastimes, you'll find her nearby a tree in that particular 67 acres of our campus and drawing something very, very beautifully. This is what the power is. Now, with the national recognition from the Honorable President of India, the perseverance, the passion, the principle to a particular concept of how the power of yourself lies. I'll move to the next person. Now, we have seen these segments, for example, the downtrodden segment, to the social media, to the self-help groups of women, to science and technology, and my next segment is the food entrepreneur. Now, 2020, I agree, we saw many. Nowadays, we even have a concept of food vlogging on our in our society. The YouTubes are full of it, the Insta is full of it, and all concepts have been evolved in that particular way. That has made us all to think one very, very important component, that how we were taking that particular thing into existence. Not only that, we also bring in that the food entrepreneur, the Konkara, as I was talking on to, has their own passion. This is again Africa's leading food, drink, and hospitality trade expo, where you can see the Hostex that was organized. So Konkara inherited her mother's expertise in making pickles. And as I was saying, from papad, from the self-help groups towards how a power of a women of our own households explores, this is the biggest example for that. She set up her own processing unit called as the Kara's Fresh Foods and received the financial support to grow. And today, it is not merely about her business or the business oriented skills. She believes and she shares her knowledge, where she is training students and aspiring entrepreneurs in the food processing unit to establish their own. Now, understand this, that why, and as I said, This young entrepreneur might not be doing the millions of the business or the turnoffs and other such things, but she's also not afraid of one particular thing, which is to train others and to ask them to grow in the same food business. And this is the beauty of entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is never about being just talking about our own self. Entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs. Well, and when we see, we all know something, a brand called as Lenskart. And we saw the Lenskart's founder, Ms. Shri Piyush Banshalji, on the Shark Tanks episode as well, where you did saw a young entrepreneur, a young startup, getting and presenting his ideas of specs and lenses in front of the same Shark Tank episode. And this is exactly what I'm trying to pursue and tell, that have that passion, have that power, have that perseverance, have that risk taking capacity to take into a component that I can do that and I am going to present it by taking my own entrepreneurial skill. It is more about picking what is good for you, what you think is something mix of those particular parts. To the best example that and the one keyword that I'll borrow from Konkara would be the process. So today they have a wonderful process outlined out there, that she was very clear to take her mother's pickle thing, her expertise in that, into the processing unit and established her own brand by Kara's Fresh Fruits, took the financial support to establish the business and did not stop out there. Now they are training the young entrepreneurs in the same category, in the same segment of food processing units, and has established more than 108 processing units, not under Kara's Fresh Food, but by the name of the other young entrepreneurs which can be brought on. So this is all about how you are giving, or how you are in the process of giving it without the fear of losing anything. The last that I'll bring on to the point today is the social entrepreneur, Sri Chetna Gala Sinha ji. Now, Chetna Gala Sinha is a name, is a, I would call that it's a, in her own self, she's someone who has wonderfully inspired, who has wonderfully injected the concept of positivism along with her Mandesi Foundation that I'm talking about. Now, the Chetna established India's first bank for and by the rural bank, called as the Mandesi Mahila Sehkari Bank. The Mandesi Mahila Sehkari Bank is, and just type it, you will see the journey. And I could have given a separate presentation on each of these people that I'm talking on to, with an all 1 hour long case studies that I'm taking on. So, the Mandesi Mahila Sehkari Bank is one of its kind cooperative society banks, which is for and by the rural women, empowering, being a woman and empowering it. The bank is a unique concept of how the rural communications in women, and then we all agree, and this is not what I'm saying on my own. If you see the census report of 2023, you will find, and you'll be very, very, I'll not say shocked, but surprised certainly, that the education level in the rural part of our country is still not that when we see on the urban side of it. And to establish a bank for and by them is a unique concept to bring on. You just imagine that how well it incepts the concept of the power, or how well it
Vaishali Shri, you may mute yourself, please. Thank you. Sorry, Dr.
No
Srivastava.
worries,
You may
no worries.
continue.
Absolutely fine. So this component of the Mandesi Foundation, uh, and when I've said it was merely, it started off with a small thing, it was replicated in other districts, is one of those particular very crucial things that we can take on. So the concept of not giving only a financial upliftment to a rural women, but also that sense of entrepreneurship, that sense of responsibility, that sense, okay, that certain things can even now be handled, breaking the shackles of the patriarchal society in the rural India. The Mandeshi Foundations not only provides with financial literacy, vocational trainings, but community initiatives in relation to that particular component or a bigger component of Mandeshi Mahila Sahkari Bank. The inspiring change that Chetna's work has empowered lakhs of rural women to become successful entrepreneurs, not only in her own village, but that idea being copied, I'll not use a word copied, but replicated, sorry for that, being replicated in other villages, empowering more and more of the women as well. Also, how are these particular component being taken into a admirable step of making them to be an entrepreneur par excellence, an entrepreneur that was working with something as to how the component would be taken onto, and very importantly, how it helped others to picture you into that particular perspective. So this particular slide, this particular personality, this particular uh, the the so-called powerful personality that I can see on my screen has made me learn something which is very peculiar, which is very persistent, which is very pluralistic in approach. Now, why I am using such adjectives? Just to bring on to a fact that do not see Chetna Gala Sinha ji today, but imagine what was Chetna Gala ji when this idea was first being executed. What would have been the backlashes from the society? What would have been the situation of that particular village where for the first time this was launched as a pilot project? So, but what never made her take that step back was that the projected goal which she kept on. And that has made me bring a component of the projection for an entrepreneur. So we saw in our first slide how perseverance to passion to power to process and bringing finally that how would be an important component to be drawn on. So today's inspiration for many women, specifically in rural, and I'll not confine that thing to the rural perspective, but also to the urban world, is how Chetna's work has empowered lakhs of rural women to become a successful entrepreneur into that perspective. I've also seen that how the idea of cooperative banks, the Sehkari banks, being run in urban areas have borrowed the ideas of the Manadesi Mahila Sehkari Bank. They have been awarded by bodies like RBI. They have been awarded by state and national governments. And even at the international stage, Harvard Business School has run a case study over the Mandesi Mahila Sehkari Bank as well. Now, this is not only of giving an impact in the Indian, or when I'm talking about the rural or an urban perspective of India, but also an impact that we see towards the on a global perspective. My last entrepreneur is the Mansukh Bhai Prajapati ji. Mansukh Bhai Prajapati ji is the, I would call him to be an innovator, I will call him to be a patentee, I'll call him to be something that has inculcated that basic idea, the rural idea of that we all had. And I do not know about my audience out here, but I still have, and I can show you this. Each of my house today, whether it's in Gorakhpur, whether it's in Bhopal, whether it's in Gurgaon, you'll find one very important and peculiar thing that has brought me to Mansukh Bhai Prajapati is that you'll find a surahi in my place. And this surahi that I'm reflecting on, this clay body that helps to cool the water, has helped or was a basic idea to Mansukh Bhai Prajapati ji, and he created something called as Mitti Cool, an electricity-free clay fridge, the refrigerator that we talk about. Not only that, he utilized that particular technology, which was a mixture for the first time. And believe me when I say this, the idea of the refrigerators pouring out water was not that of LG or Samsung, but it was something that was taken with the Mitti Cools concept as well. So this Mitti Cool, as you can see in your picture in the left side of the screen, is an answer that when you pour this particular clay made thing and pour water, the components or the compartments that were made were acting as the refrigerators. He worked with the Gyan and the NID to improve the design of his products. This is how the government always promotes the entrepreneurs and the rural persons as well. The impact of this Mitti Cool, the electricity free clay fridge, is that it is affordable, it is very economically friendly, and it can reach, and it has reached basics of the rural and urban households. Rural specifically when I'm mentioning, because still there are some parts of our country, the rural parts specifically, where the electricity has still not reached. Discovery Channel itself has brought that particular component and done an all new study over the Mitti Cools concept. Not only that, to add on to a point, that when this particular idea was taken onto, you can even find today where you can find these clay things. I have made it mandatory to usage of the water bottles made of mitti. I have taken that particular component of how the food can be cooked on clay, which is a clay tawa, which can be a clay kadahi, which can be a clay casseroles and whatnot. And we all would agree on that particular point. The taste of tea today, even in a kulhad, has unbeatable match when it comes to the aroma, when it comes to the taste, to whatever we can see on together. So what was the basic approach is your own practice. And that is what is the unique component about Mansukh Lal Bhai Prajapati. That the practice which he saw, clubbed with all the other skills that we had from our young entrepreneurs, the practice of using a clay vessel for getting water stored. It was the same vessel from which in rural areas, and I'm unsure how many of you have witnessed that, but I've been a part of it as well, where we saw ladies or women getting the water from well into those vessels into their homes. We call it by local, I'm using the local term, mind me that I'm using a Hindi terminology out here, the ghada or the surahi, as I said earlier. So that component, and to bring up practice matching it all with that particular point. Now, if I may ask a question at this particular moment, after seeing this young entrepreneurs, these young successful entrepreneurs, as the title is coming on to, can anyone help me to know that What is the highest education any one of them has taken on? No, we never came on that particular point. Can anyone tell me that, okay, what is the highest of the, not the present time, please, but the day when they started their entrepreneurial business, what was their bank balance on that particular point? I can cite you the example for legit Papa. The seven ladies has 80 rupees total in as a worth. Can anybody can tell me which religion, which Ivy League university or other such thing that I'm reflecting onto out here uh, is they a part of? No. But yes, what does matter is the skills that an entrepreneur should have. And just for every component, the couple of the last two slides that I'll read on to, I've tried to identify some traits which are common to the examples or the case studies that I've suggested or like shared with you all. First and foremost, self motivation. They were not looking for their motivation outside somewhere. They were not looking, वो ऐसा कर लेगा या उसने ऐसा किया है, I would also try to do the same. No. They all were the first time ideas. They all were the first internationally, globally recognized idea that popped inside their own self. And as I say, charity begins at home. I say that for an entrepreneurial idea as well. It do. I guess many of us do have. The entire SK team is also one of those particular things that we can take on. So, highlighting the positive side, if time permits, I can also highlight the negative sides. That what was or what can be a common challenge which all these people faced. Or if you give me an opportunity, I'll convert these all positive. Self motivation being the biggest challenge for a young entrepreneur like us. So, 50 of us today on this vertical platform, or in this virtual platform, we might have some idea inside us, but it is that self motivation, or I would say that fear of what we put. I was reading that thing other day that half of the problems are what we think only. It might not exist in the real world, or you might have the double the power to overcome these particular threats as well. So entrepreneurs are driven by a strong need for achievement and not by deters by others' opinion. So none of you, if you have that idea, should say, Devanshu sir ne to mana kar diya, ye cheez nahi banni chahiye. I'll give you a couple of examples. We know the famous tele-series that we saw, all of us did saw, was Kaun Banega Karodpati. And please search it as well when I am parallelly saying this. So Kaun Banega Karodpati idea was first given to DD National. And do people know what the DD National said? DD National was clear to say the point, we do not promote gambling, therefore we would not be projecting this particular tele show. And rest is history. Today DD National people might be thinking, oh, what blunder we have done. Again, the similar example. The host of that particular show was Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. And do you all know? And I would really thank Akashvani for that. So, Amitabh Bachchan ji and Shri Amitabh Bachchan, when he went to Akashvani to record a program, to give an audition for a thing, and Akashvani rejected. The AIR at that time rejected Amitabh Bachchan by saying that your voice doesn't have that particular component, the X factor that we are looking for. Imagine. Today you see, and I do not know how many of you have noticed that, half of the Paytm users are using the same thing in his own voice. Bhai sahab, paise mil gaye. Now, from the self-motivation comes creativity. I would always say creativity has nothing to do with being disabled. I have always said this. Non-creative is exactly the disability that one can have. Believe me, creativity is not merely how well you dance, how well you write your poems, how well you draw, design, do something. Creativity is about thinking creatively, to identify the challenges into opportunities, to develop unique solutions to the challenges. This is creativity. You might have heard this thing, thinking out of the box, thinking out of the box. I would say the creativity is to identify the box. What is the length? What is the breadth? What is the depth of that particular box? And then be creative out of it. Third is persistence, as I said, and we have discussed that thing as well. Entrepreneurs work passionately, passion as we saw from Zuckerberg. They have to work persistently, continuously. Why and how can you work consistently? When you have a self motivation, when you have an idea that is going per se correct to their ideas of their successful ventures. Ventures have not been successful today when we see it or when we are saying, oh, he's a young and a successful entrepreneur. No. Venture was successful the day entrepreneur himself thought it to be and held it to make it successful. Very important, the qualities one entrepreneur should definitely have. He must be curious. She must be very curious. And that natural curious should be there. Question what is there. If you won't question that, you will not find the change. You all remember there was a yellow bulbs which was there. Today, each household we see is an LED bulb. That is the reason of curiosity, questioning. Be curious enough to know what all new opportunities can be there. Be curious enough what all can be the new patterns out of which. Third, adaptability. Adaptability. You need to be very adaptable to new situations. COVID was biggest example. This online medium is the biggest example for adaptability for all of us. No young than a kindergarten student, no elder person like a 70-year-old person in the same house have adapted towards technology. They were able to quickly pivot and adjust their businesses plans as needed. The best example today, as I cite, is the digital payment mechanism, the UPI, which is introduced by India. And the power of that UPI are now expanding to all parts of the world. Third and final thing that I'll end, and I'm just exceeding my time of things. So it still have 3 minutes to end it up and to open it for the house for the question. The persistence that an entrepreneur should have. Persistence of not giving up. And that I guess as always, you might have read it 100 times, that whenever you feel certain thing to be giving up, do think why you held it for so long. Have that habit of pushing yourself. You will always feel whether it's a good business, a bad business, whether it's a successful business, whether it's an unsuccessful business, challenges would always prosper. Sometimes internal challenges, sometimes external challenges. But these are challenges. These are just like locks. Each lock will always have a key. There isn't any lock that doesn't comes with a key. And that is where you'll have to push yourself through the challenges to give up their goals, to take up their goals into a perspective on it. So this was all from my end. My email ID is right there on your screen. Any questions? I'm opening the forum as well. So for the question and answers, or in spite for that, if anyone has any questions, not feeling that confident enough to ask, can do drop me an email. And this is my promise. I guess that's known to everybody out there. Yeah. And you'll generally get a reply within 48 hours. So that would be all from my end. The floor is open for questions if someone has any.
Mr. Srivastava, I believe there are 6 questions in the chat. If you can just go through them. Sure. Ms. Jain, if you could just read them out for Dr. Srivastava.
So I really like this idea of poll questions in between. That's a wonderful way if you can connect with your audiences out there. So that's a good thing. So So I see the first question, I guess, is by Advocate P. Vanilla Naidu. What made motivated Chetna Galasena to establish the Mandesi Foundation, and how has her personal journey influenced the foundation's missions and activities? Followed question: how has Mandesi Foundation impacted the lives of the rural women entrepreneurs in India, particularly in terms of financial inclusion, skill development, economic development? Third question is also that what challenges has Chetna Galasena faced in her efforts to support rural women through the Mandesi Foundation? Uh, so is that a question for me? If somebody can just help me out, or there is one more
Uh,
three questions on housewives, professors, and corporate employees becoming home. So we can just get a small clarity on.
Yeah, the questions from Miss Vanilla Naidu and Miss Lahiri Naidu are for you. The poll question is for the audience,
Okay,
Mr.
perfect.
Srivastava.
Perfect.
Sure.
So I'll try to answer, and please mind me if I'm unable to as well, because of the looking of the time as well. As I said, I would have loved to do, and I have already done my thorough studies. Believe me, this is my habit, being an entrepreneur myself, being a promoter of an entrepreneurs, number of them. I generally ask my young entrepreneurs, a mandated thing is to read about the entrepreneurs, and I don't use the terms young and successful both. So read it about them. So what has been motivating Chetna Galasena, I'll tell you very clearly, she was really not available with the patriarchal form of society which she saw. That was the biggest thing, that she wanted to do something on that particular point. I'll tell you what was a major thing, an incident that happened. That when she went to the bank, it was said that the women are not supposed to do banking activities. And specifically when she saw women, and even today, I do not know how many of you get this chance to visit, but in your life, please do visit an SBI branch. The purpose is very simple that I'm asking you. If it is an urban branch, you'll find people still there with that withdrawal form. I know I'm talking something way too old, which my younger generation would never think of. Okay, this there. Do you used to fill a withdrawal form to get money out of it? We to now use it on our UPI as well. But yet they still have a withdrawal form, and they're not being signing, they're using their thumb impressions to withdraw that particular money. Even as minute, I have seen and I've helped people doing that, was a withdrawal of 550 rupees from the bank, because they did not have the debit cards or something like that factor. So this one incident was very impressive, and that was one of the life changing things where she thought that she can do something for those particular things. How has it impacted the lives? As I've told you, they are now into training. They are now teaching the financial literacy. So she has presented nearly. There was a one wonderful show when she was called to Mumbai with 25 of her trainees, and they were asked questions like what is GDP, what is GNP, and all such things. So this those concepts, by getting from a rural woman who has not seen the day of school, or they have maximum went to class 5 or class 6, and when they were answering what exactly is GDP and how, there was a wonderful photo shared by Sinha ma'am, was that these women were watching the budget of 2020. I'm talking about a way back thing, 2019. So that image itself was one thing that, okay, if somebody with all those things is listening, a rural women is listening, that is something to take it on to. Challenges were many, as I said, and I tried to highlight that during that particular slide as well. Patriarchal form of society and fighting with the society to take it up was the biggest of the challenge which she faced on. And exactly, Ajay has rightly mentioned, the potential choice and the pressure from the society is something very, very important. What are the key skills and experiences that the corporate employees can leverage when transiting into entrepreneurship, and how can they best prepare for this shift? Uh, I'll tell you the last two slides of my presentation. I'll share it with the group as well. They can circulate it to all our participants. Whenever there is a switch, the biggest thing anyone should keep in his or her mind is that you have taken all that particular steps to make that particular switch. I know you're taking a switch, and very well asked by Naidu ma'am out there, that the shift from apple to oranges. So you'll not get the comfort of being an apple. Also, I'll tell you, I would have added the trouble as well, that somebody like me, who has been now, I've recently completed my 13 years in academics. And if somebody now asks me that I should leave this job and join a corporate house, so that comfort that one has, entrepreneurs do not have comforts. Number one, they are not bound, and it is rightly said, even in your own profession, or if you're switching or transforming to another profession, the biggest threat that you create for your own self is the comfort. So one fine day when you'll wake up and you'll find that the comfort is something that I can have to leave and I have to take that particular thing. That went for me as well. So I was there in Bhopal for 18 years. I was so comfortably there with no problems, nothing. But then, yes, I had to take that particular step. And look, I'm super proudly growing. I'm super proudly happy out here. So that, yes, that comfort thing that I need. And this is not like I've started making my comfort space in Gurgaon. But I will, for my own growth, for my development, I have to move ahead. They can be prepared, number one, by planning, proper planning. As I cited you an example in the first slide itself, where a, young boy, father being barber, he did not close that particular thing and started the rented business of cars or bikes. No, he continued to it. He said, okay, I'm not good at barbering and I'm not able to put that thing. I'll put the entire shop on rent. What did he ensure by putting that shop on rent? That a source of income should be there. So that you need to plan it well in when you are in a corporate structure. Plan it that, okay, this much amount is there that I can spend my life easily in a couple of years and parallelly can boom on my entrepreneurship idea. How do corporate employees manage the financial risk associated with leaving a stable job to start their own business, and what strategies can they secure initial funding? Now, when it is about initial funding, I guess for a corporate employee, the best initial funding is his or her own savings account. So if I'm planning to leave my corporate job, a well settled corporate job today, I should not do it in a haste. I should keep it with me, plan my further things, and then, okay, so my entrepreneurship idea would require a basic startup money or an angel funding money of this thing. Explore the market parallelly. And once, and I'll request each one of you, being a law professor, this is one story that I've asked everybody. We have a subject called as jurisprudence, and my friends from law would definitely understand it. Uh, there is a subject called as jurisprudence, and there is a jurist by the name of Lon Fuller. Lon Fuller. And there is a wonderful theory or a story, or you can call it whatever you feel. We lawyers are very good storytellers. So we try to give you the concept through a story. And that was perfectly did by Lon Fuller. So Lon Fuller's story is called as Allegory of Rex. I'll reiterate. Lon Fuller's Allegory of Rex. Allegory is another name for a very short and a sad story. Rex means king. So I'll just quickly tell you, this was a young prince who has become a king by the demise of his father. And he makes 8 mistakes. Through this story, a hypothetical theory, Lon Fuller tries to tell what and how to make a state work. And all the 8 mistakes, I'll quickly tell you a couple of it. First mistake he did, he said all the laws are outdated. Let's end it and let's make a law all fresh and new. So what he did, he said, आज तक जितने laws चल रहे थे would all be ended from today. Tomorrow onward we'll have a new law. Biggest mistake he did. He did not have the new law ready. So what about that transition period by the time you're having the new law? What laws would be prevailing in your country? That's the first mistake. So similarly, there were 8 mistakes that he tried hypothetically to tell that a king made, and combined it into a story and said, read it even 200 years down the line, even a democratic society, even in a kingship, even in a parliamentary or a presidential form of government, these 8 pointers would be an effective rider of how to run a country. And to add that particular thing, put that how to run an institution, how to run an entrepreneurial business, you'll get an idea from the allegory of Rex. What are the common challenges? As I said, please read that allegory of Rex with an open mind that how you can apply that in the common structure or the corporate structure. You can definitely take it. I'll again cite one more thing, not in any religious capacity. I'm citing the Bhagavad Gita. Read the Bhagavad Gita. There are certain articles, and I'm just requesting two things to read. Bhagavad Gita for the managers of management is one wonderful reading one should read, irrespective you are into a management group or not. And read Bhagavad Gita for entrepreneurs. You'll find Lord Krishna telling to what was told to Arjun at that time is something which is very relevant even for an entrepreneur. That helps you to even upcome or overcome the challenge that you can face on it. So I guess I've taken all the questions. Yeah. Any other question by anyone else? You can please unmute yourself or use the chat box to take it up. Thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Miss Jane, you are on mute. I would appreciate if you could unmute yourself.
Am I audible? So thank you, Dr. Devanshu, for giving such an amazing speech. I would request you to kindly share your email address in the chat box for any follow-up questions or discussions from our audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much all the audience. I would really appreciate that it could have been more interactive. It would have been a real fun, but always there to help. And the entire SK team knows this particular fact that the strategic alliance team, and I'm always there with you whenever they'll need me. They'll call me. I'll always be there. I've shared my email ID, and thank you so much for this lovely evening, a well spent one. And I'm still at office, but that's one pleasurable thing that I can go back with that smile on my face. So thank you so much, everybody, and thank you so much for everything. Thank you.
Now, moving ahead, we would like to invite Mr. C.S.P. Doleshwar Rao, a practicing company secretary, corporate attorney, and the honorable partner of GWC Professionals Private Limited from Kolkata. Mr. Rao has more than 10 years of experience in the field of accounting, audits, taxation, finance, regulatory compliances, company laws, GST, and incorporation. He has incorporated more than 200 companies till date and represented multiple corporates in court hearings at NCLT, ITT, ITAT, and in the offices of Region Director of MCA Kolkata. He is also the founder of P.D. Rao and Associates Company Secretary since January 2015 and accounted an audit firm based in Kolkata, West Bengal, renowned for auditing many public, listed, and private listed companies such as Mangal Steel Enterprises Limited, Manglam Industrial Finance Limited, Wad Bazaar Foods Limited, J. Taplier Projects Limited, Hirani Projects Limited, and many others. So further, I would request Doleshji to please enlighten us with your speech.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So, am I audible?
Yes,
Thank
you are
you.
completely audible.
Yeah. So, thank you for inviting me on this FDP program. So, I'm glad to share my experience and my learning with all the audience. So that all can be benefited. So, let's start. Is my screen is visible to all?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. So, as I'm into the practice of corporate laws, So I will definitely will discuss and share my experience on the practical parts, like how a person or how an entrepreneur thinks more about before he starting any business or any startup. So let me share one thing before this slides starts. Is it Excel visible to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. See what happens. There is when any startup idea comes in mind, they have a different options. Like they think of doing itself, means themselves. Second, think of doing with in association with the others. Think of doing with multi association or a large scale. They think of doing on a national scale with with special enjoyment of grants and with the participation of public at large. So basically these three four ideas, if I can say, people comes in their mind that these four areas, they how they can start their business. The thinking of doing themselves, that means they are thinking about in a narrow scale, which is limited to a proprietor. Then second area is about doing business with the partners. Then doing a business with a private limited company. Then making a private limited company into a limited and get it listed. So why I have bifurcated or highlighted these four segments? Because as we know, Reliance Industries Limited as on date is a listed company and a large private listed and have a leader in the market share in terms of anything, in terms of their presence in the national level or at an international level, and they have made it at a diversified business, not restricted to the similar area, but the Reliance industry, because I'm saying the Reliance Industries, it started with a partner proprietorship firm, and Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani has a vision of creating from point one to point four. So starting a business with a proprietorship and then converting and association associated with the partners, then taking it to the another level as a which has a broader area under private as a private company under the MCA. Then we have a step before a company can go beyond the MCA regulators and comes under the ambit of other regulators like SEBI, RBI, and NSDL, and so then they have a dream of starting with the proprietorship business and ending or taking it to the listed entity. So this is how a startup converts their business over the span of the years to a listed company. So any entrepreneur must think in such a way that he will or she will or a person or a group of people will take their business into that level, and they must think and start the vision of that, yeah, down the line after 10 years I will be a my company will be a unicorn, then my company will get converted into the listed. I like we have several, so we have more than 100 unicorns in last 10 years in India itself. So these numbers going to be increased so many in coming days. In next 10 years, maybe now we standing on at a 100 figure, and within the span of 10 years or 15 years, we will exceed these will be into four figures. There will be a no surprise for us as the share markets and everything is interesting, and India is being a interesting platform to the world right now, for and it will keep continue for the next 25-30 years from today's vision only I'm saying. And if these graph continue, we may think and come up with the very bigger figures also. Like presently, we have a 4 trillion. We are approaching for the 4 trillion. Very soon, we will definitely reach and touch mark of 5 trillion business. So those who comes for me for incorporation and starting of the business is they don't have an idea how to start with. They come with like I am sharing my personal experience before going to the slideshow. So people who are working in the technology companies, like they are grads of MTech, they are at a very high level of technological advancement. They are developing for the companies where they are working. Now they got an idea that no, I should start my company or I should start my startup, and I will work on this particular areas. So they just came up and discuss the thing that this is we going to start. So first thing I asked them, what is your vision? Why do you want to start a business? Why do you wants to come into this corporate field? You are already earning at a very big perks as an employee, but now you are just shifting your gear from corporate employee to entrepreneur. So both are different, to completely different. Those who are converted themselves from employee to entrepreneur and has a success, they can understand and feel that what is the struggle to being an entrepreneur. There is lot of struggle. Not only funding is only, people say that if you get the funding you get success. That is one of the key factor, we can't ignore that, but there is other areas also which makes a business successful. Not always, not any time that only funding will make a person successful. there is, and in India there are, for segment wise, we are not on a unilateral or unanimous laws follows here. We have laws at panchayat level, we have a laws at municipal corporation level, we have different laws at different states, we have laws at company laws, we have other regulator laws, we have RBI regulator, and so on. So there is lot of compliances, huge compliances areas are there. So one has to prepare their mind that no, funding is definitely will pump in and will ease works going on, but have to give emphasis on their compliance parts also. There is lot more, area or gaps in the, where when we come across with the different compliances, like for starting up a business, for a proprietorship business, one who has a plan that no, I will start with an will I will start and eatery shop, or else I will start some restaurant. For taking the restaurant business, for starting a restaurant business itself, we need some 4 to 5 licenses for a basic restaurant. Because there is restaurant, like for starting a business, first they have think of the name. They have to start with from gross area, that they have to think of the name, that yes, this is my restaurant name. For say, like, let me open my this. See, for inculating a idea into implementation stage. So when anyone start thinking eatery shop, they have a different set of compliances. First, choose a name like star eateries, for an example. Then take a panchayat or municipal license, which we call it trade license. Then moving ahead, FSI, a new regulator. New, I mean a specific regulator, not new, specific regulator. Licenses has to get. Again, there will be a different stage, different level. Business plan under 12 lakh, there is easy licenses, and above the limit there is different process. Then getting stationery, branding, perfect place of shop, basically. marketing. Marketing means market study. If we thought that no, I will open it at a school, a nearby school, then idea of opening eateries and items will be different. If I are planning opening a eatery shop near a shopping mall, then idea of selling the goods or articles will be a different thing. If we are going to plan nearby any hospital, then the items should be in a such a way that the patients or a fatigue relations can eat in a proper way. So different place has different products or different way of cuisines or different way of presentation. Then again, price sensitive point, PSP is very important, because it's how the total business will get the success. In shopping mall we can sell a product at a more, in India we can sell a product at average 200 rupees also. But in nearby school we can't sell any product, any item, any eatery item at a rate of 200 rupees. We should plan in a budget friendly way, like for approx 50 rupees, or which maximum students pocket can afford. So, like for college students, the cafeteria concept is there. Cafeteria concept is there. So we different, like place changes, everything goes changes. Their size changes. If with the compliances or a law applicable to 100 square feet of eatery shop is totally different when we are planning for opening a eatery shop or a restaurant for 500 at a 500 square feet of area. Because small shops need small approvals, big shops, big area needs big approvals. There will be a attached licenses also, like they need what ground water clearing license, and fire license, local police license. The different area, it matters a lot. So thinking a business, and when it comes to implementing a plan, is totally different. So see, why I am telling this, funding is start from here. Funding, everything needs funding. But and Mr. X has it. Mr. X, sorry, Mr. X has it. Mr. X has a fund, but the implementation, when it comes to implementation, if you don't plan prior, if you don't plan in a proper way, then he will be in a difficult situation. Because getting licenses from panchayat, it will take liaising with the panchayat officers, liaising with the municipal officers. So different way creates different environment. And branding, marketing, and negotiating, a person thinking of opening a shop, and he spend 2 lakh of rupees for 50 square feet of cafeteria, for an example. He has a fund, but he even did not calculated that 2 lakh rupees on paying a rent, whether he will get that much of cash flows from selling the eateries from a different outlet. So where he fails to achieve the success. So those who are in any business, and those who are planning for any proprietorship business, they have they must chalking their plan, business plan. This is we call business plan. These are the some glimpses of business plan. Again, what is the potentiality of developing or multiplying these? No, presently there is a possibility of selling 100 patties at a given point of outlet. Whether that outlet has a potential to, we can supply or market or sell 500 patties in coming 6 months. Whether we have a that place or that outlet feasibility assessment. There is a word again, feasibility assessment. Any business has to assess their business for a at a very given point of time. Any they can assess on a monthly basis, assess on a quarterly, assess on a half yearly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis, half yearly basis, or yearly basis, or any given point of time. As they wish, they can do it because they understand and they know their business better. So this assessment must be done by all the proprietorship or the businesses. So this they have, once they have this much of picture in mind, then only enter, there will be a right point of entering into the business. Because those who are employees and those who are yet to start their journey as an entrepreneur, they have a comfort and they have a different set of schedules. As an employee, they get salaries on a very particular date and time, on a just a click, that your just a message has pop up, yes, your account has been credited with your salary this much and this much. So this is how a entrepreneur must plan their total schedule. Which we in business, we make this as a blueprint, as a business plan or project report, anything we can call it. We first, they come up with, when they come on a very day zero, we ask them whether do you have a business plan. They said no, I have an idea. So the first thing, you spend on your business plan for 15 days at least. You give us the inputs and we will prepare a business plan or a project report. This is the very first thing an entrepreneur must do. Just thinking and going into the see, like I have a dream that I can be a world's fastest swimmer. So So I have a dream that I can be a world's fastest swimmer. So I went to the some largest bridge, and I jumped into the sea. So and I started swimming and started swimming. So it goes. So what it actually makes him, not makes him swimmer. It makes him loss of his death. He will drown himself. So everything on a paper pen. First, an entrepreneur. I think here an audience, lot of eminent faculties and professors are there. I request and them to share these way they can convey with their students or with their audience, that they start their ideas and into write into a paper and pen. Anything in a paper and pen is only the proof document, and paper and pen must say that paper document must say their vision. They have a vision in their mind, that's enough. We will appreciate and we'll encourage. But until unless the idea is bringing into the paper and pen, that will not be going to implement. Every time as a consultant, I can't understand their mind, I can't read their mind. Someone says, yeah, lot of on a uh, every week or twice a week, these type of people come to my office. They say, no sir, humko we want to start a business. Just a minute, huh?
I request all participants to take a minute and fill the poll that's been circulated in the chat. Let me continue, Dulesh.
Yeah. So every time the people comes in, they say, "No, we want to start a business," and means how they come into their idea. They say, "No, I am doing this in my company as an employee, so I am thinking of it." So I say, "See, boss, whatever you are seeing and thinking is maybe you may be right. You may get a good result. You may cultivate it in a good manner, but the way your thoughts first drop your thoughts. It's not a the working proper flexible shift at the company. It's you have to work 24 hours, 24 into 7, 365 a days, at any moment, at any different level of stage. You come across with a different level of challenges. You can't even think of it. One of my client has recently opened some restaurant. Suddenly some police inspection has happened. They said, why? So they say you need to obtain a police license also for running your restaurant. They said, why we need to obtain a police license? They're saying, no, it is written and it is mandatory for your size of restaurant or a sweet shop. So they are asked for a 15 days of time. They have applied. We got applied. We get it them, and we have wrote a letter and given a written submission that no, we have complied with this licenses. We have taken it. You can come across at any time. You will find it in a specific place. So this is how a setting up of a business is all about. So it's not easy. I'm not fearing people that not to enter into this area. I am just saying that this is an adventurous thing. Entrepreneurship is doing an adventurous thing. So those who are adventurous with mind, with ideas, with strength, they will enjoy very very perfect. And this is if one can think it, that if this is the scenario of establishing an enterprise. So think about that, what will be the challenges when you run the business, when you close your books, when you get it audited, when you voluntarily file your accounts with the different departments. What if what if the department regulators have come across with their queries, how to address them? So and ये बिजनेस वालों का ये सबसे मतलब वन लाइनर होता है, दैट हम एकदम नीट एंड क्लीन है, हम कुछ नहीं करते हैं, वी डू एकदम बेस्ट, हमारा हमारा सब सही है. बट व्हेन वी गेट audit them, when we take a due diligence of them, then we say, then we show them their mirror. See, boss, this is your mirror. This is your mirror of your enterprise as on date. Whether your enterprise is on ICU, whether your enterprise is on a emergency, whether enterprise or on a yoga table, or what you want to do, you think of it. And entrepreneur has a mindset, they only restrict themselves to the business. चाहे कुछ हो जाए, बिजनेस मेरा चालू रहना चाहिए. So there is one maximum entrepreneurs has this type of mindset that no, I don't bother about the laws, I don't bother about the any difficulties raised by the different regulators. I want business. I want simple business. My sale invoices has to be generated regularly. Today, if I generated 10 invoices, tomorrow I want to see 12 invoices, not 9 invoices. वो आपका काम है, आप देखिए. What you want from me, you tell me. This is the mindset. So when, so approaching an entrepreneur and conveying them, no sir, this is the thing, you have to adopt or you have to adhere before something won't happen. You must comply with this. You slow down your train, you slow down your car for a some time. Once you and get your compliances, then you gear your business. Some entrepreneurs understand it, some say no, I want to do in my way only. So as a consultant, we can only suggest them. Rest, when they get struck, they will definitely come with us, come to us. So this is all a gist or a, thought process of an entrepreneur. So I have some slideshow also, so that I can share. See, ideation. This is what we have discussed, is about ideation. See how to ideate your start business, startup. The
Excuse
word.
me, Tolesh ji. Your
Sorry.
screen isn't visible.
Sorry. Just a minute. Just a minute. Now it is okay. Fine.
Yeah, Tolesh ji, it's visible.
Yeah. So this is how, what we have discussed about, that ideation is very good. I welcome everyone, and there is a definitely a clap for an idea. They has to, introspect themselves, or they has to prepare themselves. Not introspection, it's a preparation, pre-level preparation for before entering into any venture. And when they think of venture, every venture requires different set of parameters or different set of association. For business needs only private limited company as a corporate. Until unless they have a private company, they can't do businesses. Like I am telling an example, for making any NBFC businesses, RBI needs, no, you first form a private limited company, then only come to us for grant of license. We will not allow any licenses to any proprietorship firm. We will not allow any licenses to partnership firm. We will not allow licenses to any limited liability partnership firm. So either you have to be a private company or you have to be a limited company at least. So this is ideation is all about, and you must have a roadmap preparation before starting up a particular business. And definitely in last 10 years, there is a boost for different startups under Startup India certification. So one can get the benefit of that Startup India certification. And again, as per the scale of the business, there is a MSME regulations or MSME benefits. It's as of present, rough data is around, in India still we are more than 75 to 80% business contribution comes from an MSME. And from that MSME, there is a micro level business contribution is very high. Means out of that 75%, almost 60% are coming from the micro level. So this is how micro level is basically those who comes with an ideation, with comes an idea, those who are recently started, those who are doing their business on a very small scale of business, small scale, small level, like within the turnover of 1 crore business per 1 crore of turnover within a year. So those 1 crore, see, volume matters a lot. 1 crore of business by a single person into 10,000 persons. So there is 10,000 crore rupees of business contribution by 10,000 entities. Where a small or medium business, those who are contributing 200 crore rupees as a turnover in a financial year, but there are only 1,000 medium companies are there. So this is how the total stats is all about. That's why the government is also focusing on the MSME areas and MSME industries, and there is different set. There is a different provisions at a different MSMEs. So for say, uh, re- recently in the Companies Act there is an amendment that any dues must be paid to a MSME vendor within 45 days only. Within 45 days only. If we don't pay them within 45 days, then their expenses will be disallowed in their books. So see the impact, how an MSME plays a vital role. Until unless there is a specific reason for not getting the payment from the vendor, means from the vendor means to whom the supplier has supplied, so they have to pay them. There is different level of audit approaches there, where we have to report it, like these are the vendors, MSMEs, whose dues are pending within 45 days, within more than 45 days, more than 90 days, more than 180 days. There is a aging concept is there for their creditors. For if we see any company's balance sheet, go and look into the section of creditors. There is a aging of creditors is there. If we come to the notes and notes of notes, then we will find that area, that if there is a creditors outstanding of 50 crore rupees, then out of that 50 crore rupees there is outstanding to the MSMEs around 15 crore rupees. So that 15 crore rupees is again categorized, is within 45 days, within 30 days, so on, so on. But for this last 23 24 F5, MCA has regulated that your income tax has a stringent laws. You only get a deduction if you have paid within the due time, else you will not be able to get this expenditure in your books. So it's a huge impact on this. So whenever we goes to any entrepreneur, or we have a chat or discuss with in audit meetings with the CFOs, their pain point is this only. Sir, कैसे बचा जाए, कैसे क्या किया जाए? So we say pay timely. That is the only remedy. Get, if you are satisfied with the vendor and have no rejections or have any that such type of a problems with your goods or samplings or defects, you must pay within the period of 45 days only. So this is a relief, because government schemes, they want to encourage the MSMEs. Like this is today's session, in last 3 days FDPs and SCBs, student Indian entrepreneurship boot camps, is also from time to time conducted by the SKAG. So a lot of people get benefited from that. So the idea is that they can get a different level of essence from these programs. Whatever I'm saying, I have just recently heard with the Divyanshu Srivastav ji in last 5 to 10 minutes. He has also shared that there is different set of people who still don't know about the writing of the things. So there is a opportunity, how we can literate them, why we need to fill the forms. So what is the, is there any cell in any bank that those senior citizens can go them and they will fill up on their behalf? There is nothing. I earlier, when I used to go banks in starting of my career, so there is a lot of people standing in the banks and saying and requesting, urging, requesting, any sense say, "Hey sir, please bhar dijiye, please write a deposit form, please check how much is in my account, please check and tell, and I need to withdraw 2000 rupees." Very older people. So why not banks have a different cell over there? Why not they can outsource to the third party, where a senior personnel above age 50 can contact does this before the before coming to the main kiosk. because bankers workers are is already piled up and with the regular monotonous work. They have already 20% queue. They don't have a time to address those issues. They are only focusing on their work. They have to clear their pending entries, those who are on a line. So this is an idea. Why can't a team of persons or entrepreneurs can think in this area? That no, we will start an idea or a cell. We discuss with the banks that will put a desk over there, like help desk, and we will brief about the schemes of your bank only. For example, we will brief about your bank schemes only, and we will work as a relationship manager, because there is a concept relationship manager in private banks, where private banks itself, those who are respectable amount of dealings, they only goes and have a conversation with the banks, because our system is like that. जिसको आता है उसको और बताओ, जो जानता है उसको और समझाओ, बस जिसको नहीं आता है उसको समझाने या बताने वाला कोई नहीं रहता है. So there is in every area there is a scope. Yesterday I have listening to Mr. Arghya from Brainware University. He is also saying that you must think in such a way. You think on problems, then you will find an idea, then you work on it. So, not seeing ideas, not seeing on the implementers, just think backward. There is a problem. Problem has a solution. Think, work on solution and implement it. This is entrepreneurship is all about. If there is entrepreneurship, that doesn't mean, or I think, I mean, I see entrepreneurship in a different way, because entrepreneurship means doing a business. It's not about doing a business. In India especially, people see entrepreneurship means doing a business. Doing an innovative business is an entrepreneurship. Doing a business is a business. It's not entrepreneurship. Doing an innovative business is an entrepreneurship. For example, like I'm in conversation only, I have come across with some idea like this can be happen. Just those who are audience, just think on it. I have think very 10 years, 12 years back in my college areas. So this area, this, why not I stand in a bank and render voluntarily. And I have a habit, when I used to go physically for banks, I have habit. I stand for at least half an hour and look for the people to whom I can help, to whom I can write these subscriptions. We have a college project at that time there, where we have to collect deposit slips, withdrawal slips, and other forms, pension forms, application forms, CASA, current account opening forms, savings account opening forms, a lot of things, and interact with the bank professionals. There is two type of people. One who copy and paste, and another thing is copy paste and sterilization. So work on sterilization, think on sterilization. I used to say my trainees also, copy and paste is a reference. Now we are in the era of a Google world. We get all information on Google. We get every information. I am just whatever I'm saying, you all are finding on a Google. All are finding on different YouTubes. There is eminent speakers, well trained speakers, well knowledgeable speakers, experienced speakers. But no one tell you how to sterilize, how to implement, how to work on the ground level. That is uniqueness of a particular person, a particular entrepreneur. Because same task done by a same person, a different person will get different result. This is entrepreneurship. If I open a eatery shop, I may close selling 100 patties, and my friend opening a same eatery shop, same line of business, same area of outlet, he is closing up or selling 200 patties. How? Everything is same, staff is same, area is same. Totally is how he sterilize the things. That's important. I am selling to 100 daily. I am selling 100 patties, but I never worked on the customer relationship. I'm talking about case of Mr. A. There is a case of Mr. B who is selling 100 patties for a month, but he has worked on, apart from his business, he worked on customer relationship also. So he got 100 patties a day, and out of that 100 patties, 5 customers are returning customers on a daily basis. So when he closes a month, he got a regular customers of 100 and normal flying customers of 100. So that's how he created 200, selling 200 patties. So how you create your PR, how you behave with your customers, this is totally a different and things. No one can experience it. Everyone has different experience. Everyone can sell their business in their way. I sell in my way, they sell in their way. So how you sell is also important. Entrepreneurships, why I started in the beginning, I stated in the beginning also, the entrepreneurship is totally different. It's not a business. It's an innovation in your mind, innovation in your work, innovation in your relationship, innovation your speaking, innovation your your act, and there is a set of customers. I used to regularly order a lunch or something snacks for my teammates and for ourselves. So I rarely got a call from any restaurant. I rarely got a call from any restaurant says, how is your experience with our food? But somehow out of this 100 my regular eatery shops, I got a call from some restaurants also. So this, how was your experience? Is food is good? Have you got the hot food? Have you, is it not sobby? So see, I have paid, they have supplied, they are happy, I am happy, I am satisfied, they are satisfied. But they are calling and asking, it gives me remembrance. No, was usse aaya tha call. So that means I have a impression in my mind. If I want to order a Chinese, so I will definitely give preference to that particular outlet from where I got the call. So in entrepreneurship development, or in doing any business, this is the idea of concept where an entrepreneur can work. There is a different approaches to be followed in conveying or implementing this, but this is an idea. So we have got so much on idea. So we have discussed about licensing. So different field require different licenses. We have already, like someone is planning and have a good essence on or a network on selling or a thinking of some pubs on, like in so on, so that type of clubbing business, entering into a clubbing business. So they need different, they need different licenses, like for clubbing and business they need alcohol regulator licenses from the state government. Then only they can enter and start their outreach or a pub. Or someone has a brewery idea, that a lot of some of one client has come up with an idea that they will set up a by organic brewery. I'm also heard of very first time that what is this is about. They said that this is. I say okay. So you have idea, but this is again a specific, very high intense business. When we come across with a business like, no, I want to start with the uh, uh, clothes trading business. We said, oh, okay, go ahead. There's someone says, no, no, I want to be a web commerce integrated. We say, okay, it's fine. Someone says, no, I will start with some bravery ideas. We say, stop, you just stop. You proceed with ideas, but stop with your implementations. You need a lot of work to be done. Not be so hurried. You don't take a plot and start interioring it, and or make a plot for setting up a factory. There is this is a intensified area. Sometimes we treat it as a red areas or a red flag areas. So getting the licenses is not so easy. So licensing takes a very vital role for commencement of the business. Starting of business is what you done, that yes, you formed a company, you have you booked a place, you got your staff, and you make sure your everything is in a proper place, marketing team is there, hoardings are set up, everything. But you can't commence. You can interior your business and sit with no customers and audience, because you don't have a license. So there you need to stop. Until unless you get a license, you can't be able to process it. So this is all about licenses. There is definitely a taxation part of.
Excuse me, Dolesh ji. I would like to request you to wrap it up in 2 minutes as a 6:56. Sure.
Okay, sure. So shall we move forward to Q&A? Okay. So I request audience to, if they have any questions or queries to how to set up a business or how to start a business. So
Sure.
this is we are into a practice of this area, so we can say a lot of things.
Exactly.
It's
I
endless.
think Kashu Elias Reddy has a question. Kashu
Yeah,
ji, you
great.
may.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
sir.
you for your wonderful presentation.
Yes,
In a
thank you so much.
business, when a trust issues comes, normally with our employees or co-workers. My name is Elias. I am from Bangalore. I'm a
Yeah.
student. When
Okay.
we start a business, if any trust issues comes with our employees, how do we deal with this crisis?
What issue, sir?
Trust crisis.
Trust issues. So can
Yeah.
you elaborate more on your question, please?
Suppose I start a business like, let us say, a kind of hotel. When my employees are, I want them to work for the idea that I have got. So
Mm-hmm.
to winning the trust is very important for
Mm-hmm.
me to bring the credibility for the business
Mm-hmm.
that I start.
Mm-hmm.
So when if they don't have trust in me, what should I do? Should I remove them, or is the problem with me? How to go about?
See, this is quite again that question where I say relationship. I just given an example that how you inculcate 100 patties to 200 patties. So that 100 patties is coming with the trust only. So you can connect with that example, that how additional 100 patties you are getting. So when comes to direct answer to your question is that first you have a personal discussion with them, that what is the issue. If they have raised an issue, it's fine. Else you find your way to understand their issues. Definitely everything has a two-way areas, then only any clap comes with the two hands. Either try to find out that what are their issues, either you create an environment that they come with you with their problems. Like you are asking me on this platform, this how you tackle. You ask them first, boss, whether are you happy, are you getting enough paid, why they want to shift from company X to, and this is a burning issue for any restaurant business owner, that their staff will not stay on a regular basis. This is the pin and parcel of every restaurant outlet. very faster way. So in that case, that like you got the hint that they are not in confidence of, in your organization or not interest with you. So you have an open session on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, where you can discuss that, boss, what are your issues. I have a hint that this happened in your mind. You discuss with me because I am paying you. You are working for me. Wow, our motto must be the in a such a way that you grow, we grow, our company grow. Then only it will be a winning situation. Else, this is how you communicate, or in a personal way or on a verbal way. There is, you bind your employees, you bind your staff in a particular agreement. If you want to take a legal road, you just, and at the day of zero, you bind an agreement. You get them signed that no, for 12 months of period you can't leave my organization. If you leave, these are the damages or these are the conditions you have to comply with. There is two way only: either you go on a legal part, either you go on a verbal and mutual thing. For a small scale of business, verbal and mutual things are workable, and it works. Actually, it works. I hope you got the connect what I'm saying.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Anyone else has any questions? They may raise their hand and unmute themselves. I guess all legal queries are welcome out here. We have a practicing professional from the ground. Okay. No further questions at all. Abhijit, Adesh, Abhijit, Ajay, Lahiri ji, Shriram, Arminder, Ashu, Priyanka, Renu.
I think session was get them bored. I think that's why all are silent.
But again, FDPs have to be rigorous if they are supposed to be for faculties. What can we teach to PhD scholars if they are not actually
Yeah,
focusing on the topics?
No,
for
sir,
around-
actually, session
I am
was
here-
really very
I am-
good, sir.
I am very much
Don't
happy
say
to
that,
learn from
please, sir. Don't say ये बोरिंग नहीं था, बहुत ही नॉलेजेबल था, और आपने जितनी भी चीजें बताई सर, एक्चुअली इट वाज अमेजिंग. आपने मतलब एक रेस्टोरेंट से लेके कितना लाइसेंसिंग है, कितनी चीजें हैं, कितनी फॉर्मेलिटीज है, कोई बच्चों का खेल नहीं है, बहुत कुछ है सीखने के लिए. आपने सब कुछ आपने इतने अच्छे से एलोबरेट किया है सर. इट्स रियली फैंटास्टिक. थैंक यू सो मच सर.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Always.
Good evening,
Nirmala ji?
sir.
Yeah, sir.
Sir, I'm totally agree with Mr. Parveen Kumar. This session was very wonderful and informative. And thanks to organizing team for such a wonderful session. Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Sure. Nirmala ji, I think you have a query.
See, it's a open session.
Yeah.
I maybe I get learnings from your questions only.
Okay. Sure. I guess that's it for today. Dulesh ji, I would like to request you to share your email in the chat box
Okay.
so that if anyone has any follow-up questions, they can reach out to you. Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for joining us today, and we hope that everybody has gained some knowledge from this faculty development program. We request all participants to subscribe to our YouTube channel to access the recordings of all 3 sessions of FDP. They'll be uploaded in 5 minutes from now, right, Faiz? So you will be getting regular updates for our upcoming conferences too. Our research associates, however, will be connecting with you within 24 hours from now for a feedback survey. We encourage you to cooperate with them and answer the survey to get your certificates of completion for this 9 hours online faculty development program. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all social media handles across LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and obviously YouTube to stay connected with us. Our business development team shall also be connecting with you within 7 days from the issue of FDP certificates exactly to discuss freelancing opportunities wherein you can join our team as a youth ambassador and earn a side-by-side income for yourself. So goodbye everyone and have a great week ahead. We wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dolesh.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.